What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop. Here with my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you feeling today, my brother?
Hey, feeling good, feeling great, man. Another 1 week down, man. Three weeks to go, man, to the big dance. So hey, I'm ready.
For sure, man. We had some good playoff games, and we're gonna get into those for you. We had a crazy weekend, man. We had a couple upsets, man. We had a couple people show up. We had a lot of stuff going on, in this super wild card weekend. So, of course, as always, me and your dog Willie Jack, we gonna jump into that. But before we jump into that, we got the house rules. We got the house rules, man. And that's just three things, man. Like, that's share, that's subscribe. You know what I mean? Me and Willie Jack, we got plenty of everything. Whatever you need, we got plenty of it. We got room in the pad, you know what I'm saying? So become the newest member of the film fam. Come join your boys, and be a part of it, man. Be a part of it. And then also hit that subscribe button, man. Hit the notification bell. And how else are you going to find out exactly what me and Willie Jack got going on here? You want to know when we coming on, you got to hit that, man. So go ahead and hit that notification bell, like, share, and subscribe. Do all those things for us, tap into those house rules. And then we're going to keep it pushing, man. We're going to definitely keep it pushing. Willie Jack, we got some news today, man. We got some news today. And I think it's some things that, has been happening around the coaching tree. Of course, we have some coaches that have been let go. Some coaches been that are being interviewed and, looking to some different directions. Of course, there's a lot of names that's been going around lately. And one in particular who originally said that he may not be returning, and that's to your former Super Bowl champion, LA Rams, Sean McVay. It was questions as to whether he was going to return or not, and news came out that he will be returning as the Rams head coach. And I can't say as a Rams fan myself, I'm happy about this one, man. Super happy. Can't be happy enough to see another, football mind like his, or see a football mind like his, to come back and make the decision to, make another shot at it. Take another shot at it, man. Make another run. See what they can do in the offseason. Matthew Stafford will be back as well. So this offseason is going to be a big offseason, and the questions are going to go to this Rams organization and say, hey, can y'all return to form? Can y'all come back and be, one of the more competitive teams in y'all division and in the NFC? You know what I'm saying? So I think a big part of that and the way we can do that is, of course, first by keeping Sean McVay in the building. So by keeping him, I think that also helps with keeping the rest of the band, that those higher targets or those top guys in the building with them as well. So I'm happy to see that. Willie Jack, what's your take on it?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I really thought it made sense for him to actually step away, honestly, just because of where they are as a team and organization, just like you said. So, I mean, everybody already knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Sold your future to win in the present, and you accomplished that. But that's just that. The thing about that is, I mean, you took 2 steps forward only to take 3 steps back. And so you've got Aaron Donald, who's got his Twitter fingers rumbling, former defensive lineman for the Rams, current defensive lineman for the Rams, whatever. Man, hang him up, bro. You didn't want to play this year, no way. Until they gave you 30 million. They gave you 30 million reasons to come back and play it, even try to play this year. You know what I'm saying? You sat down the first chance you could. And I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as I seen how the season was going and I seen people getting out on IR, I think I called it like, yeah, AD next. That was about week 6. You know what I mean? So I ain't mad at you, but Jalen Ramsey as well, who's still a phenomenal corner, but, his best days, very best days are behind. But I don't mean that to say that he's not got valuable ball. But the point of it is, with this team, the way it's constructed, well, how valuable do you need Jalen Ramsey? Is not Jalen Ramsey more valuable recouping some of all the picks and the assets that you gave away? Matt Stafford, 1-year wonder, if looking at him in the early part of this season, if that's any indication, with that offensive line is terrible or poorly as it. I mean, so like I said, there's a lot of areas of concern on this team, and then especially seeing the blueprint that's already sitting there right there for you with Sean Payton. Step away for a year, break, get some TV money, and then come back and have your pick of the litter. You know what I mean? I thought that was the way he would have went, but he didn't. And so kudos to him. You know what I'm saying? So, and so he's going to be back. But honestly, man, like I said, I can't, and especially you being a Rams fan, bro, I don't know what you can imagine the outlook for this team is next year, man. Like, you got tons of holes. You don't have any ammunition to go get anything to help fill them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tricky place to be in.
So what the thing is, I don't know if we have a ton of holes. I know I think a couple things show that expose um they, and it was like a trickling effect to me. Like I think the offensive line, once we get everybody healthy, once everybody is healthy, I think the Rams can compete with an offensive line. Their offensive line was atrocious this year. It was a lot
Yeah.
of line. There was a lot of pressure on Stafford. There was no run game early in the season. It wasn't until what week 14, 15, where we start talking Cam Akers when he finally got his act together and started running the ball. And he started
On
running
the
the ball.
team, off the team. Yeah.
It was later in the year, So I think with their offensive line breaking down, I think it just opened up so much more for their defense. Our defense plays solid throughout the entire year, but our defense always had like certain aspects that they had holes with. Like we won a championship with that same defense, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't the best in terms of running, but with our offense and the way that they were moving, at some point in the game, you was gonna have to start passing against the Rams anyway. When we won the Super Bowl, like our offense was pretty good. So I don't think we had a ton of holes. I think everybody just needs to get back healthy. Of course, we lost Cooper Kupp and a lot of other guys. Now I think the one of the biggest pieces too was missing Odell Beckham. That other receiver besides Cooper Kupp. But I think if we can put together a good offensive line, we can get some free agents and put something together and get that unit working back well. I think we can get back into a playoff team. There's 7 spots over there. I think we can make it back to one of those spots for sure.
How long though? Because I don't. You see them as a players team next year?
If they can get those holes fixed on the offensive line, that's what I'm
saying though. But where is that coming in? You don't have any money to go get anybody available. You don't have any draft picks to draft anybody available unless you're. I mean, it's a lottery scratch off. When y'all picking the 4th round? I mean, I'm being facetious a little bit, but I don't know when y'all picks are. But I know for sure he don't have any ones till 2032. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying like
no, we don't. But I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like getting those holes filled is going to be a process. We ain't got no money. It's empty refrigerator don't mean nothing if you ain't got money to go to the store. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like it's one of those things. But
see, I've seen teams do it. I don't think we necessarily need like the blue chip type guys. You know what I'm saying? I think we need some solid guys. If we get some solid guys, I think Sean will be able to put some together to where we can be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? So
I ain't mad at you, big dog. Spoken as a true fan, man, as you should. I ain't mad at you at all.
I'm telling you, man. I've been watching it.
Because I see a Niners team on the rise of another probably 3 years real championship window. I see a Seahawks team that came out of absolutely nowhere, and now they get to build on you know what I'm saying? So I see the strength at the top is getting stronger, and then you guys should be able to settle into that 3rd spot, especially with Kyler missing most, if not all.
Ain't no 3rd spot. The Seahawks gonna fall back, man. The Seahawks that there's some of these teams that took a step forward, gonna step right back, man. The Seahawks.
Hey, I don't know, bro.
Seahawks ain't like that, man. They ain't like that. They had a good little run. It was cool. It was cute. You know what I mean? I could throw some. We could talk about some teams that's gonna drop right back down. I feel like, or gonna take a step backwards, but we'll see. On to the next news, Willie Jack, man. We got Jim Harbaugh, head coach of the University of Michigan. Of course, he was one of the coaches that was in the talks in terms of getting some recognition or a possibility of getting another opportunity in the NFL. And a report comes out that he will be staying at the University of Michigan. So he will be staying home, and he goes and he comes out and says, "Hey, man, you don't try to out happy. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like everything is going good for him. He likes it at Michigan, and if he were to take a job in the NFL, it would be him trying to, make that situation better. And he's like, he's okay at Michigan. Everything is going good there. So, he decides to stay at Michigan. Willie Jack, what's your take?
Honestly, I do like the move because he has really of course, and just like he said, he didn't need me to say it, but made himself a home. He's been very successful there. Now he hasn't got over the championship hump, but I want to say 2 out of these last 4 years they've been in the playoff. Now they fell short there, but they're right there at the precipice of breaking through. And so, especially, and I'm not gonna lie, man, looking at the jobs that are available, none of these aren't premier jobs. The Texans, the Panthers, the Cardinals,
Besides it being the NFL, none of these,
exactly. And he's already scratched that itch.
Exactly.
And he's already scratched that itch. And so, it doesn't have the same pull for him because he's sitting like, man, I'm the man. Man, outside of the governor, who got more pull around Ann Arbor, Michigan than Jim Harbaugh? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I am to do what? To go coach the Texans and a rookie? To go coach the Panthers and God knows who? You know what I'm saying? So I think it makes sense. Now, I think it gets more interesting now, you know what I mean, this time next year, because we can anticipate 5 to 7 jobs coming free most years. And so this time next year, if something more appealing was out there, then maybe it's a different conversation. But I'm not leaving Michigan, which is near the, a premium brand of college football for an off-brand NFL team. I'm just not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Not if I'm Jim Harbaugh, and like I said, I've already scratched that itch. I already had success there. I went to a Super Bowl there. You know what I'm saying? So I've already, I get to pick and choose now. So I think it makes sense for him if he didn't have a job out there that he just loved. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
For sure. Well said, Willie Jack. Well said, man. In and out. On to the next one, man. Now, this one isn't actually news, but I felt like it was worth talking about. Man, when Willie Jack talked about it, I felt like it was worth talking about. And it hasn't been official just yet. I've seen some reports come out that this move was official, but Byron Leftwich was expected to be let go as the Tampa Bay Bucks offensive coordinator. Okay, so there's been a lot of reports out that he's expected to be fired and so on and so forth. But Ty Bowles actually came out and said a final decision hasn't been made just yet in regards to Byron Leftwich, in that offensive coordinator position. Well, Jack, I'm curious to know, man, what's your take on this? Should Byron Leftwich be fired? Should he retain that job? Talk to me about your feelings behind this particular news that's coming out or that has come out.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't necessarily think that Byron Leftwich should be fired, but for me, Byron Leftwich was my favorite coach candidate, was the hottest coach candidate for me, or one of my favorite coach candidates from last year's cycle. And so just last year, I'm not ready to back off of that. Now, of course, now he was the offensive coordinator full board last year as well, but it was under Bruce Arians' regime as opposed to Ty Bowles' regime. And so Bruce Arians, we can imagine, we already know, he's a lot more, man, go out and get it done. Ty Bowles is a lot, very, very conservative. I mean, we've seen it every stop he's been at. So very, very conservative, a defensive-minded guy. And so I don't know. In my mind, I almost wonder if there was what type of bumping of heads behind the scenes we had when you temper down man, what am I trying to say? How willing you are to be aggressive offensively. There we go. So under Bruce Arians, they could be as aggressive as you wanted to. And under Ty Bowles, I would imagine that's not the case. But honestly, man, I see this Tampa Bay situation. It reminds me of the Rams situation to a certain extent because they also had key injuries and just key missing pieces from last year's team over this year's team that really, I think, played a part. And so similar to your Rams, the offensive line was in shambles this year. And then sometimes that's maybe not as glaring of an issue unless you have a 52-year-old quarterback named Touchdown Tommy Brady. You know what I'm saying? And then that's a big deal. You know what I mean? And so the run game with Leonard Fournette never got going. We find a kid, Rachaad White, to come in and try to steal some of those carries. A couple hot moments, but nothing substantial. So you've got a poor offensive line. You've got no run game to depend on. Julio Jones, man, I told y'all when he came here, I don't know how many games he finished with, but I told y'all it wasn't going to be double digits. And then plus he just ain't, I mean, he can hang around for another year or two if he wanted to, but why? You know what I'm saying? And so he wasn't an issue. He wasn't a factor. And then this is the thing that really hurt them this year is Mike Evans and Touchdown Tommy, their connection, which had been phenomenal for these last, 3 years or so. It took them till week 17 to rekindle? You know what I'm saying? Week 16? You went before. Well, speaking of Steve, they had a stretch there for about half the season where they just could not get it going. And then so some of that's going to be on, maybe some of that's on time as well. He wasn't quite as sharp, but also Mike Evans just didn't play as well this year, just flat out. All year trying to throw hands at dudes and the side of piles and stuff because you're getting clamped and all this other foolishness that went on. Like it was a down year for Mike Evans, period. And then you got Chris Godwin coming back as well and just not the impact player that a lot of y'all was led to believe. Like my dog Chop was big on Chris Goodwin. I was always a little more like, you know what I mean? But he doesn't have the impact that maybe you want. That defense tremendously underperformed as well. I mean, so there was a lot of stuff going on there bigger than Byron Leftwich. You know what I'm saying? And so if anything, man, if I'm Byron Leftwich, I'm considering whether or not I want to go back to Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? That's where my mind's at. Like, y'all think y'all need me, or y'all think I need y'all. Shit, man. Hey, go ahead, play with me if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my mind would be at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not ready to give up on Byron Leftwich, but it may be one of those things where maybe it is time for him to just go kind of shake that tree and go, you know what I'm saying, shake that nest and go find his own tree. And that's what I would hope he does. But I hope his I mean, but like I said, with the 1 year and 1 year, year over year, I don't know how he's going to be viewed in ownership circles. But for my mind and my money, man, young guy, veteran in the league, a real player in the league. You know what I'm saying? Not a Super Bowl, not an MVP guy, but a real player, a decade starter or thereabouts, playoff experience, playoff victory, I believe. I know his Jaguars beat my Steelers in the playoffs 1 year. No, I think he was out in David Roberts. Anyway, but I'm saying he's a guy that I really envision has a bright future as a coach somewhere. So I'm not ready to give up on Byron Leftwich. I said all that to say I'm not ready to give up on Byron Leftwich, dog.
For sure, and I feel the same. And actually, I would have been quite upset if they were to fire him. And that we would not to compare situations, but I am going to do it anyway, even though I said that. But you think about a situation that we're going to talk about in a minute with the Chargers. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that situation shortly, but I think that in this situation with the Bucs, and you watch what changed, the thing that changed within this team was that head coach, the head coaching position. You know what I mean? And when you look at it, when it's all said and done, a lot of times what they like to do is like put the fall on somebody because the season didn't go how it looked, because because Tom Brady didn't throw 40 touchdowns for his third year straight. You know, it's all right, whose fault it is? Somebody's got to go. You know what I mean? But in reality, I don't know if they would have looked through the entire situation, like you mentioned, Willie Jack, in terms of what this team was and what they had to deal with and going into the season. I think they just expected the team to be exactly the same. You know what I mean? And if they're going to fire somebody, they need to start looking at their defensive end as well. You know, that defense didn't play well at all this year. You know what I'm saying? Their defense wasn't the same defense that we've seen last few years. They didn't stop the run at all, you know, like that. Teams were running on them at will. You know what I mean? And this team just had a whole bunch of holes. They had a lot of problems. And I feel like if they were to get rid of Byron Leftwich, that would be them just throwing the blame on somebody. You know, out of all the players and all the things that went wrong throughout this team, for this team this season, they would just be throwing the blame at somebody. And that would be crazy if Byron Leftwich is the guy that they chose, in which, you know, Byron Leftwich, I feel like is, I think he's a up and coming good coach at some day to come. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have liked that move. I'm not ready for Byron Leftwich to go either, Willie Jack. So I'm with you on that one, man.
For sure, man. Couple of the gang in here, man. Let me shout them out, man. We got the early comers, man. First off, the home team was in here bright and early, man. My mom and my sister in here. Appreciate y'all as always. My dog Hoop Jargon in the building as well, man. Hoop Jargon Sports Network. Check my dog out, man, on YouTube as well. He in here talking a little spicy, man. Hey, look, man. Hey, look. Y'all don't know what's going on right now, man. Y'all just enjoy my journey. You know what I'm saying? Because when I make it, y'all make it. You understand me? So yeah, y'all got it. Yeah.
For sure. All right.
Hey, also more to the point, really quickly, man. My dog Hoopy said he's always enjoyed Byron Leftwich, even since he was in college. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Did he go to Marshall?
I believe so. I believe he went to Marshall, and
I'm about to say,
yeah.
I think
he got carried up the field or something like that, man.
Yeah, I remember him a little bit in Marshall as well. I think he took over for Chad Pennington. I think he can't. Yeah. I think he was the next quarterback. I do remember him a little bit in college. But I enjoyed him in Jacksonville. Like, I like those Jacksonville teams with him, just him and that team around with. And then even David Garrard, who was a
straight cannon,
replacing him.
Straight cannon. That boy had a rifle, boy.
Man, yeah. Long wind-up delivery, but he had put a 90 yards somewhere on somebody's forehead, boy. So, yeah, he say he played on a blown tire for sure. And so, yeah, man. But no, like I said, man, I think he's got better days are coming around for him here pretty soon. He'll have to sit this year out probably as a head coach and kind of get some of that smut off his name. And then now, 2 years from now, he's the guy that's going to have a job. I'm convinced. Like I said, I really think he's got the chops, man. And just seeing his year-over-year improvement and progression, just up those coaching ranks. A guy that Bruce Arians brought him in, worked with him in with the Steelers in Pittsburgh when he was backing up Ben, and Arians was our coordinator. And Arians seen something in him and took him everywhere he's been since then. You know what I'm saying? And made him start from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Went from assistant, quarterbacks coach, boom, 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 and now he's right there ready to, you know what I'm saying, ready to take his, like I said, start his own tree, man. Get out that nest and start his own tree. So I'm excited to see what happens for him.
For sure. And our last piece of news for the day, Willie Jack, let's go to the Chargers, man, which I brought him up a little bit, man. But Joe Lombardi has been let go as the OC of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say this, Willie Jack. Congratulations, Chargers. Congratulations. You have now just signed up for another year of the Chargers charging. Congratulations. That's what you've earned with this particular move, because he shouldn't have been the only person gone with this particular move. It should have been Staley as well. You know, now I know a lot of people, you know, were looking into it and watching the play calling and everything that they was doing in this particular game, especially in this playoff loss. But for me, man, it's the head coach is the guy running the ship. You know what I mean? And from watching this particular team and their trajectory the last 2 seasons, it's a reason why the Chargers have that as their thing. The Chargers going to charge it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of that has to do with leadership. A lot of that has to do with the coaching intangibles that you have to bring to the table. And a lot of that, man, I just see a lot of mistakes. We watched that game, and again, we watched that playoff game. Just like the offense didn't put up more than 3 points, that defense hasn't stopped anybody all season either. You know what I mean? That defense hasn't stopped anybody, and it gave up a 27-0 lead. You know what I'm saying? So that loss doesn't just go on one particular person. You can't just look at one person and say this is on you. No, that loss went on the team. And you know who runs the team? The head coach, Staley, the guy who we've been questioning throughout this entire season, the season before, you know, about his decision making, about the way that he, you know, goes about the game, and so on and so forth. To me, it was a no question, and I believe we both even said it afterwards. We were just waiting on the news to come out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I know one of the film members, Mr. Ike. I don't know if you in here right now, Ike. I know you've been talking about Joe Lombardi this entire time, and you may very well be right. But you know what that means to me? That means a couple guys need to be gone and not just one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I got you, man. And honestly, this is the thing for me. Like, well, I obviously wasn't a fan of Staley after last year. To start this season, I said Brandon Staley starts in his hot seat right now because he can't make those same blunders. And so I think what really saved it for Brandon Staley is that it's a double-digit win team that did make the playoffs. And so, and another thing as well is if you let him go, who are you going to get? Because Sean Payton ain't promised to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not going to be Sean Payton, then who is it? Because I don't want to start over with another. Because you got to remember as well, he's a young guy, innovative guy. This is what his second, it's his first coaching job as well. So I don't think they want to start that process over and get another young whiz kid, and then who's not going to be able to really step in and take this team to the next level. So the guy you have to go get would have to be a veteran guy. But who's the veteran? And I would imagine if you did make a move, it'd be for somebody that can more so cater directly to Justin Herbert. So you want to go get an offensive guy this time. And so who got fired that's available? Well, in my mind, you've got Frank Reich, but what's his name worth now leaving the Colts? You know what I'm saying? So you want to let go of Brandon Staley for Frank Reich? No, that doesn't have any juice. You know what I'm saying? I saw Jim Caldwell's name being mentioned. Jim Caldwell's getting requests for offensive coordinator positions, and he's turning those down because he wants to be a head coach. But, okay, so we're going to let go of Brandon Staley for Jim Caldwell. Doesn't tickle my fancy. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not getting Sean Payton, then and Jim Harbaugh just told you he's staying at Michigan, then I just don't necessarily know what decision makes more sense. And then it's easier to say we've seen this play out before. So when the coach stays and the offensive coordinator goes, because somebody's got to pay, somebody's got to pay the toll. You know what I'm saying? So somebody's got to pay the toll. And so Joe Lombardi is out. But this is emphatically Brandon Staley's very last strike. going forward, because now he doesn't have that scapegoat in Lombardi. And I don't mean to say scapegoat, but he doesn't have one to throw away. He doesn't have a sacrificial lamb to buy himself another year after this one. You know what I'm saying? Because now your offensive coordinator is gone, big dog. What's left now? You know what I'm saying? Because there's no more fingers to point at anybody but yourself and Justin Herbert. And this is the point I want to make. Joe Lombardi is getting scapegoated for both Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert. And you know what? Before I get on my little diatribe about Herbert, let me finish with Staley. The decision to play those starters in the meaningless last game of the season, and I'm going to call it meaningless because, okay, you know what? Maybe it wasn't meaningless, but playing those starters, risking injury to everybody, and then actually losing Mike Williams for this playoff game. Now, in hindsight, you say, well, why they need Mike Williams? Because they were up 27-0. And it's, well, bullshit. When you only scored 3 points in the second half, I got a feeling that maybe Mike Williams, the $20 million receiver that you paid that money to, maybe he could have been a difference. Maybe he keeps one of those drives alive. You know what I'm saying? Even if since Josh Palmer and Keenan Allen stopped getting open, well, let's just throw it to Mike and let him go up there for a 60-40 ball. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear if you don't think you needed Mike Williams in that game, then he wasn't worth $20 million when you paid him then. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear that. Losing Mike Williams for this playoff game was a terrible blunder in my mind. Now, it is the way that game played out with them jumping to the greatest lead, that big lead, and et cetera, et cetera. And so that gets, I think, lost in the wash a little bit. And then also, there's the other point as well. For all the complaining, and Ike, man, where you at? Isaiah Holmes, Ike Turner, man, where you at, big dog? You never around when I talk about your Chargers. It's all good, though, man. But for all the complaining everybody does about Joe Lombardi, and especially specifically Chargers fans, then you also want to praise and sing the, and shout to the heavens about how great and how dominant and how elite that Justin Herbert is. Well, it can't be one without the other. Joe Lombardi's so terrible that Justin Herbert is off to the fastest start as far as yardage and touchdowns go in the history of the league in his first 3 years. But Joe Lombardi ain't worth nothing. He can't cut it. He ain't got the chops. And so it can't be both. You know what I'm saying? Like, in some instances, there is correlation doesn't always lead to causation or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But this is no, I'm not going to buy that. I can't buy that Justin Herbert is uber successful the way he has been, 15,000 yards or just under 50,000 yards in 3 years. And Joe Lombardi's been hindering him in his growth and development and his execution for all these years. So if he had a real OC, what's he got, Chop? 20,000 yards in 3 years? Because Joe Lombardi is stifling him? Man, hell no. I'm not going for it, bro. So Justin Herbert's not getting enough slack for the credit for, he's not getting enough flack for this because I don't give a damn what you tell me Joe Lombardi called. Players play, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go Willie Beeman from any given Sunday and call all your own plays, big dog. I'm not saying you get it. I ain't saying you do that. But don't tell me that I only scored 3 points in the second half because the shit coming in the helmet didn't sound good. Nah, bro. You got to make a play, especially if y'all keep telling me he needs to sit in the tier 1 room with, you know what I'm saying, with Patty Cakes, Big Josh, and Joe Burrow. If he's supposed to sit in that room, give any one of them 20 points in any game on the planet, Antarctica, butt naked in the cold. I don't give a damn. You don't lose. No, it ain't happening. Because, you know what I'm saying, it just ain't happening. Justin Herbert you know what I'm saying, for all the talent he's got, and he's phenomenally talented. I said in that playoff game, that little short dump off sidearm pass to Gerald Everett on the right sideline, when he got smoked. You know what I'm saying? Like, phenomenal. It was still one of my 5 favorite throws I've ever seen him make. You know what I'm saying? So the talent's not a question at all. But sometimes, and I ain't even gonna say it's in here, bro. It's in here. He ain't got that killer in there, man. He ain't like, nah. And I don't think so. I think that's what I don't see. He's a front runner. You know what I'm saying? Like, he get out the gates and take off on your ass. It's, man, look, man, we kicking it. But if you give some type of resistance, you swing back, he's ready to lay down. He's ready to crumple. And I ain't gonna entertain nobody arguing with me because I watched the boy give up a 27-point lead. Period. So I don't want to hear it, man. And so yeah, man, Justin Herbert, like I said, talent's not the issue, but nah, man, he's not tier 1. Yeah, he's still not a tier 1 guy, man. Ike, man, you keep dodging this smoke from me, bro, and I'm gonna see you about it, man. You keep dodging me. Your boy not tier 1, man, because past the talent, you've got to come through when it counts. That's the period, bro. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around that point. Not if you want to be in that conversation with Patty Mahomes that you keep telling me he needs to be in. You know what I'm saying?
I got you, Willie. I got you, bro. I got you. Well, enough said, Willie Jack. Willie came through, man. Clean it up for me, man. He came through, clean it up. Yeah, well, now, Willie Jack, I know you got your energy up. I'm gonna let you keep it up.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm
saying? It's about time for us. Yeah. It's about time for us to go into some of these games, man. The games that happened over the last over this wild card weekend. Of course, we're gonna jump into some of those. But before we jump into that, I think it's about that time, Willie Jack. Talk to him, man. Let him know what's going on. You know what I mean? Give him the breakdown. You know, just going through it for him, man.
Sponsorship?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you heard my dog say, man, today's episode of Let the Field Speak, hosted by the wonderfully handsome and intelligent brothers of Let the Field Speak, Chop Willie Jack. You know what I'm saying? Find us Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, somewhere getting real busy like we is now. You can also catch us on Sundays at 10 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Pre-game show, Chop Willie in the morning. We drop real jewels in there, so stick around. But all of this good funness is brought to you by the sponsorship, baby. That's the Three Amigos, man. You can say it with me if you want to at home. I know you know what's coming. That's like, that's share, that's subscribe. That's a 3-piece spicy. That's 3 the hard way. You cannot go wrong. That's like, share, subscribe. Now, I know y'all know this next part too. It's 3 Amigos, but it's 4 steps to this process, big dog. Say it with me. First, you got to holler at the 3 Amigos. Don't be disrespectful, bro. Don't be disrespectful. Everybody know you come in the crib, you better speak to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe. Take it with 3 Amigos. Hey, 3 Amigos. Hey, man, what's good, bro? Hey, yeah, what's happening with you? Then you got to tell a friend, all right? Because it ain't no fun if everybody can't get none. Tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Then tell your friend to tell his friend. Tell your friend's friend to tell his partner because we need one to know because we always need 4, man. Tell everybody to come through and holler at your dogs, man. Like, share, subscribe. That's the 3 Amigos, 3 the hard way, man. They ain't never going away. And now, back to the regularly scheduled programming. Come on with it.
All right, Willie Jack. Let's go ahead and jump to this game, man. And we're gonna start this one off with Big Josh, man. Yo cat, man. Big Josh Allen, man. The Dolphins go to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills end up coming away with this W in a close game, man. Close game. They win this one 34-31, man. I was surprised that they actually kept it this close throughout the game, but we had some surprise performances in this one, man. But go ahead. What happened in this particular game, man? What happened?
And I'm so glad we're starting with this game because this game right here is for one to the interceptions or whatever the case. And I'm not going to say that's not it's an issue, but it's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because Josh threw 2 interceptions in this game. Now, the second one, honestly, I didn't mind. That was a great defensive play. You know what I'm saying? Cole Beasley got beat at the catch point. Pass gets deflected. Another flow defender comes and gets an interception. That is what it is. I'll take that all day long. That's the one I'll take. And even the first interception, mind you, it's right before halftime. He throws an interception that gets picked off. It's a deep ball. And honestly, man, there had to be some kind of miscommunication there because I think he threw it more to the pylon, and it was that Gabe Davis. I'm not even sure who was back there, but he broke more towards the post, and so it's a kickoff at that point, and it's intercepted. Now it getting returned for like 40 yards. Man, Xavier Howard had the slowest 50-yard interception return yards. I was sitting there watching him like, ain't nobody gonna. But
it looked like he was coasting though. It looked like he was coasting.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like he was just kind of like dinking, dunking, picking his way, and 45 yards later, you know what I'm saying? The Dolphins are in a position to score. And then now kudos to the Bills defense. I think they hold them to 3. Now, this is the point this is what I want to talk about here, because this is what was so this is what's special. This is what tier 1 is. This is Patty Mahomes. This is Joe Burrow. This is Josh Allen. This isn't this isn't your boy Herbert. You know what I'm saying? You gonna catch me, boy. I know you coming in here, son. He always he likes to pop up after we talk about the Chargers. I got you though. But Josh Allen gets that ball back with what the Dolphins scored with 33 seconds on the clock. Then you kick off, you get a return or whatever they did. He went down there and got a field goal before halftime to get that lead back 20-17 with 22 seconds on the clock. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all thought y'all did something. Okay, but let me show you now why I'm a guy. You know what I'm saying? Because let me show you why I'm a guy, Justin Herbert. Because you know what I'm saying? Like when you swing on me, I'm swinging back. Oh, y'all got one off? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Then come on in. And then boom, we go get it. And then, like I said, the game wasn't perfect, but you know what he did? He won. He didn't lose to a third-string quarterback. I don't give a damn what the score was, because you know what? We don't get extra points for winning that game by 30. Ain't no extra points for winning that game by 30. And I tell you another thing, Justin Herbert, What's a 27-0 point lead really worth these days anyway? You feel me? You know what I mean? And so I don't want to hear none of that, man. This is that right there is the difference for me. You know what I'm saying? One of these guys, like I said, that you can rise to the occasion. That's the whole thing. When I say a guy's tier one, no situation's too big. I don't give it. I've seen Patrick Mahomes just last year down to that same Dolphins team. Now, mind you, it was regular season. The Miami got out on Patty Mahomes, what, 24-0 in a game he threw 3 first-half interceptions? Who you think in Kansas City locker room was tripping? Who was worried that we out of this game? Nobody. You know why? They've got a guy, Chop. You've got a guy. You got a dude. You got one of them ones. That's what it's about. And so it wasn't the prettiest girl at the party, but you know what? She still went to the dance. You feel me? And so 23 for 39, 352, 3 touchdowns. Did throw the 2 picks. Diggs is out there getting busy, boy. Yeah. 7 for 114. Gabe Davis, big day, 6 for 113 in the touchdown. And then here's the thing as well. And shout out to my dog, man, Calvin. Calvin Patterson, that's my fan from the crib, man. We play high school ball together. That's my cousin, man. Because I think during the game, he told me, man, the Dogs got a real shot to win this game. He called that. He was like, he said Skyler's got a cannon. He's gonna play well, better than he should. And this is the problem with me for Miami. Skylar Thompson didn't lose this game for Miami. Miami failed Skylar Thompson. They left Skylar Thompson out there hanging.
They had a lot of drops. They had a lot of drops in this game.
Right out the gate. 60-yard bomb. Both hands. I don't know what else you want me to do. Jalen Waddle? Where else should I put it? Because right in between both your hands wasn't good enough. What do you want, big dog? What do you want from me? Tyreek Hill. This the one. Tyreek's day was more surprising. Jalen Waddle that's his first moment. And he ain't, as far as talented as he is, we don't know what he's like in these moments. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him his.
I get what you're saying.
I'll chalk that up. It's a young guy learning still finding his way. Hopefully he'll be better. Tyreek, you're a champion. You a champion. You got real champions.
You've been here and done that before.
You laid an egg too, sir. You laid an egg too. And so Skylar Thompson goes 18 for 45 for 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. And I'm going to tell you right now, they left 120 yards on the field for Skylar Thompson in a good 6 completions, 6, 8. And some of them were clear, unforgivable drops by Tyreek and Jalen Waddle both. And not just them, a couple other guys as well sprinkled in there. But like I said, man, somebody owes Skylar Thompson some money, and then somebody owe him a round as well. Jalen got to see me about that 60-yarder you dropped, boy. Boy, I was undrafted. I'm in the 3rd round. You can't drop that shit. Boy, hey, if you drop that one, I might not get another one. Boy, yeah, you got to come see me, big dog. You know what I'm saying? And then I really wasn't up on just how strong his arm was. But then when my fam, man, when Calvin told me, like, man, he got a real cannon. And then when I've seen him play in his spot duty, but he came out there airing that thing out. Like, he was like, I didn't appreciate it for just how special it is. You know what I'm saying? Skylar Thompson in this game showed me he can play ball. You know what I mean? Like he can play. He's got a chance to play real ball. Now is he gonna go somewhere and be a starter and you know what I'm saying and be Brock Purdy, man, and be the girl who gets the silver shoe at the dance and all that? I don't know if all that. But he's here to stay. He can play ball. If not in Miami, he's gonna play ball somewhere. He's gonna play ball for a while. You know what I mean? So, so when it's all said and done, man, the team that should have won, the team we wanted to see win, did win. But kudos to Skylar Thompson. Kudos to that Miami defense. Now, it's a 34-31 game, and so both teams scored 30. You say, well, who played? No, that defense did what they could do. They had 7 sacks. They stayed on Josh Allen. They capitalized on turnover opportunities. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things where I'm not going to knock what Miami did defensively because Jordan still scored 40. Make Jordan's 40 hard. Make Kobe's 30 hard. You know what I'm saying? Because make KD's 30 hard. Sometimes that's all you could do, and that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? And so opportunities there for them to win this game. And I'll tell you what, if Miami Dolphins were playing the Chargers that game, guess who would have won that game? Yeah. And so their bad luck was they run into one of them guys, man. And like I said, they gave them everything. They gave them everything they wanted, man, and fell just short. But and I hate like soft victories or what they call them, cause them you lose but get your what they call them, moral victories. Yeah, I'm not really like necessarily into that, but Mike McDaniels, Skylar Thompson, that Miami team showed incredible resilience. The fact that this opening matchup was against a divisional opponent as well was also to their benefit, because if you got to go in undermanned and undergunned, then you want to do it against an opponent that you're extremely familiar with. And so some of that played into it as well. I don't know if Miami would have played as well against a non-divisional opponent being like, with Skylar Thompson. I don't know if they played that well against Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if same thing with Cincinnati and Baltimore when we get there, but anyway, all said, man, kudos to Mike McDaniels, man. Phenomenal first year with everything they went through up and down this season with Tua starting off looking like the new best thing since sliced bread, and then falling off a little bit, 6 games in a row, took an L, woo, win the one that counts to get you to the dance, and then, like I said, man, made a very impressive run at that divisional round, man. So hats off to y'all for a phenomenal year, man. And then for Big Josh in the game, man, y'all know what's going on, man. Keep trucking, bro. Just keep stacking them. As long as we get to the big dance, man, don't nothing else matter. Get to the big dance. That's how we talk about, man.
I got you. All right. Well, let me see what's left on this bone, man. Let me see what.
My bad, dog. Yeah, my bad, man.
Nah, you straight, man. You straight. But to your point, Willie Jack, this is the thing that makes the Bills so good, in my opinion, right? First and foremost, I'll touch on Miami, but I think Miami could have I think they could have done a better job defensively, and I'll tell you why. Going against the Bills, and it seems to be more of a thing in the NFL now in terms of scheme-wise, what we're putting together, is when we going against Josh Allen, when we going against a Pat Mahomes, when we going against a Burrow, when we going against any type of quarterback, and it's not a tier thing, but any quarterback that can come out there and put up the points and light it up at the drop of a dime. The thing is, let's make them drive the entire field. I don't know if we remember. I don't know if everybody remembers the Chiefs and Bills game when they played earlier in the season. That wasn't a super high scoring game. I think the final score was like 27-24. That's some decent amount of points, but the reason they didn't stop each other, it was just each team made their other quarterback make go of a 15-play drive down the entire field. You know what I'm saying? That's what they made those guys do. But Miami didn't do that. Miami played cover one man a lot in this particular game. And if you go play cover one man, against Josh Allen, he's gonna take his shots, and he did it all game.
As he should.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And if you got a guy like him, he's gonna hit a lot of those shots, especially with the talent that he has on the outside between those two guys and guys that can they actually get their work going downfield. You know what I'm saying? So Stephon Diggs was like, okay, you gonna play me one-on-one. I get it. You got a solid corner. I got some solid corners over there, but they ain't me. You know what I'm saying? Man. I'm him. He told y'all that earlier this season. I'm him. Man, so it's gonna be one-on-one. It's gonna be me versus you. And I know my quarterback gonna put it up there for me. It's one-on-one coverage. He going at me all day long. I don't care who's guarding me. So that's pretty much what happened in this game, because they played a lot of that. And they didn't stop the run, but I mean, who should be going into a game against the Buffalo Bills worried about the run? You should be worried about Josh Allen, and maybe stopping him from running. But their number one concern is Josh Allen and him being explosive and passing the ball. So I thought that was a mistake by their defense. I feel like they could have did better in terms of that. And like I said, they could have made them drive the entire field. All right. And this is going back to the Buffalo Bills, and this is why it makes them so good, right? If you let Josh Allen make or take big shots, give him an opportunity to make big plays, the turnovers he's going to have don't matter. They won't matter. Yes, he turns the ball over a lot, but he comes right back and makes big plays. And I'm gonna go through some of these drives for you, Willie Jack.
Go ahead. My dog was back in the lab. Y'all in trouble. I ain't know my dog was getting back in the lab. Go ahead, Cook, bro. Go ahead, give it to me.
5-play, 73 yards and a touchdown. That drive took 3 minutes. 4-play, 23 yards and a touchdown. Now that was off of a turnover. That was off a turnover, but that
cash it in though.
That took 2 minutes.
Cash it in for 6 though. That's
5-play, 33-yard drive that took 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 5-play, 68-yard touchdown drive that took 2 minutes and 17 seconds. That's 28 points, Willie Jack. And you know how long it took them to score all 28 of those points?
10
about
minutes.
about 9.5 minutes. You cannot win a game against the Buffalo Bills if you're allowing them to score on those big plays like that. Like 9.5 minutes on 28 points. That means in one quarter, they put up 28 points. That's 3 more quarters left in this game. This team could have done a lot more damage if Josh Allen was really on his game. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't have those particular turnovers. So I feel like the Miami Dolphins, they could have did more. And I said this going into the game. You got to slow them down. You know, you're going to have to slow them down. You're going to have to keep the ball out of his hands. But, man, he got the ball in his hand, and he lit it up. And it's like boxing. I mean, you got to knock the champ out, man. You got to go for the gusto. You got to knock the champ out. Ain't no close decision in no boxing match when you're going against the champ. If you are a contender going trying to get the title, you got to knock him out. It's got to be unanimous, or you got to knock him out. Ain't no close shots.
No question, exactly.
You got to go get it. So, all in all, you said a lot when it came to this game, Willie Jack. But I just wanted to point that out because of the fact that you just can't do that against Buffalo. We know. I said it going into it, like Josh Allen, he gonna have some opportunity. He gonna present some opportunities for you if you playing some good defense. He gonna give you opportunities to force turnovers, but you got to keep it out of his hand, man. You got to play keep away against the Bills, man. And they weren't able to do that. Bills come away with the W, 34-31.
For sure. And then real quick, man, shout out to our dog, man. Our dog Joseph Kenny, our dog Brother Red in the building, man, for No Votes to the podcast, man. He said Josh Allen got to stop playing that hero ball. And like I said, man, right now it's an issue.
That Kobe Bryant ball, we talked about it.
That's exactly what it is, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Kobe gonna give you 50. Sometimes it's a pretty 50. Sometimes it's an ugly 50. But you know what happens when Kobe give you 50? You win. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need all of them 50 to win. Sometimes ugly, sometimes pretty, but we needed every single one on the win. And so that's where he's at right now. But like I said, right now it's an issue. It ain't a problem. It's only a problem when it stops, you know what I'm saying, when it changed the price of tea in China. Right now it's an issue. We can carry that with us. We can still tweak that in the background. You know what I'm saying? The problem's got to get solved. We can fix the issue. You know what I'm saying? And then real quick, man, since my dog, Joseph Kenny, man, No Budget Podcast. And real quick, tap in with my dog, man. He got a lot of stuff going on, man. Music, sports, all sports. And him, just like myself, man, we're big boxing fans. And what you said, man, about you got to knock the champ out. And real quick, my dog, Joseph Kenny, man, since you in the building, I know he'd appreciate this one. This is exactly what happened with Sweet Pea Whitaker, Pernell Whitaker, man, when he beat Julio Cesar Chavez. But like I said, it wasn't definitive enough, and it comes out with a majority draw. He doesn't get the credit for being the first to beat Julio Cesar Chavez, who was like 87-0, something crazy. And then the next fight, Oscar De La Hoya actually gets a victory over Julio Cesar Chavez, and that's what propels Oscar De La Hoya's career right there. But man, they owed that victory to Sweet Pea, man. But like I said, you got to knock the champ out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's for you, Brother Rick. I know you in here, man. We got exciting boxing news in the world today, man. I'm holler at you later.
For sure. A little boxing news from Let the Film Speak, man. Hey, we do it all, man.
Shout out to No Bunch of Podcast, man. Y'all tap in with my dog.
Awesome. On to the next game, Willie Jacket. I'm gonna touch on this one first. You know I'm gonna touch on it. Touch on it. Hey, we had the New York Giants, man.
Was that the evil laugh?
We had the New York Giants, man. They traveled to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The Giants end up coming away with this W, 31-24. And your boy called it, man. I told y'all the Giants is gonna come out here and do their thing. And I also predicted that Saquon Barkley was gonna have 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now he didn't get quite get to 150 total yards. He got to 109.
Not quite.
Well, not quite. He got 109. 109 and 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Needless to say, my boy was doing this thing. But I'm gonna start this game off giving credit to Daniel Jones, man. I'm giving it to Daniel Jones. First and foremost, it's been kind of obvious, I guess you can say, that they've been running this offense through Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the second half of the season for sure. I honestly don't remember the last game Saquon Barkley had 20 carries, Willie Jack. You know what I'm saying? That's not.
You know what that sounds to me?
Here you go. Come on, man.
Hey, I'm just taking what it sounds like. I'm gonna let you cook though. Go ahead, good.
What do it sound like, Willie Jack?
You know what it sounds like. You know what it sounds like to you.
I know. No, I'm gonna tell you what it really is. I'll tell you what it really is. No, I'm gonna get to that in a second. Here we go. Anyway, they're running this offense through Daniel Jones, and it's been they've seen something, especially against the Vikings, that's shown that it can work. And you watch how clean this offense looked. And I think we're actually watching Daniel Jones grow before our eyes. You know what I mean? And I got a question for you after I finish up, and I'll let you go through the game too, Willie Jake. I'm gonna ask you. We can talk about that. But that's Josh Daniel, man. 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 78 yards. And he only threw for 300 yards 3 times this season. Only 3 times. 2 of them was against the Vikings. So that lets you know what the Vikings defense was about. The other was against the Detroit Lions. He only threw for 300 yards 3 times this season, and 2 was against the Vikings. So he owned the Vikings this year. Both games he had good games, and he controlled this game, man. All I remember is first down after first down with Daniel Jones getting them on the ground. He ran for 7 first downs in this game. Okay, 7 first downs. The playmakers were also making plays. You know what I mean? Like I said, I already mentioned Barkley's stats, but Hodges and Slayton both had big days. I think Hodges went over 100 yards. Slayton had about 80 something. And if he'd caught that last ball that would have sealed the deal for the Giants before they really sealed the deal with their defense, he probably would have went over 100 that one because there was nobody around him. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I also noticed too with the Giants, this is one of the few times that they actually were almost fully healthy. They had Leonard Williams missed a lot of time earlier in the season. He was out there in this game. Kayvon Thibodeau missed a game or 2. He was out there. Ojulari was out there. Not to mention, kudos to the signing of Jalen Smith, the former linebacker from
for Cowboys.
He's out there playing linebacker. Adoree Jackson had his first game back. You know what I'm saying? He was part of the help with that blanketed Justin Jefferson that slowed him down a little bit. Had him had a quiet day. You know what I mean? And it looked like the Giants' defensive scheme was to, all right, let's go blanket Jefferson. And TJ Hockenson, you do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? Because TJ Hockenson, we don't believe you can kill us. We know Justin Jefferson can. He did it the last game. So we're going to make sure Justin Jefferson doesn't get off this game. And TJ Hockenson, if you do, kudos to you. Do your thing. But, hey, we ain't going to let Justin Jefferson do it.
And I can respect that. Like I said, like if you're going to beat me, you got to beat me with plan B. You know what I'm saying? So exactly.
For sure. And all in all, much as we talk about the inconsistency of Cousins and so on and so forth, it ain't to me, this one went in on Cousins. The defense let them down, man. The defense let this team down. They couldn't stop anything. Like I said, Daniel Jones almost had 400 total yards in this particular game. The Vikings defense gave up 28 first downs and 431 yards. That's just crazy. That's insane, man. You know what I'm saying? And they also lost the time of possession battle. So all in all, this Vikings team their defense has just been rough. And it's just been man, they couldn't do nothing with the Giants. The Giants came in with a great game plan. So kudos to Brian Daboll with the game plan that he had. And they came out and they took care of business.
No, and of course, man, and just like you said, man, like and I was gonna tease you about Saquon, but honestly, man, like the fact that I'll say you this. The game, Saquon Barkley had 9 carries in this game, right? To Daniel Jones 17. But just like you said, Daniel Jones only thrown 300 yards 3 times this year, and 2 of them now. Well, one of them in hindsight, but 2 of those against the Vikings. And so, in knowing that I think that was I don't think it's a thing about Saquon. More so, it's about like game planning and then our strengths and weaknesses, what we do best against this team, etc. Because this is a team that this game plan was obviously for Daniel Jones to go out there and get this done because it's a favorable matchup for him. And so in knowing that, then, and honestly, that's me hearing you just say that now. So if that's the case, you know what I'm saying, then okay, then maybe I can see what they were thinking. Like, okay, well, hey, Daniel Jones had maybe his best game of the year against this team. And so going into this week, man, that's what we're going to ride out. That's what we're going to ride on. And then Saquon, to his credit, that first touchdown run was beautiful. And not that Saquon didn't do anything special. I don't think he got touched, but it was an excellent blocking. The left receiver, John Filiano, or I think that's how you say his name, the right guard, pulled around and smoked somebody. You know what I'm saying? And caught somebody, and Saquon was right off his, you know what I'm saying, right off his backside man and then scooted into the end zone. It was just a beautiful run to watch. You know what I'm saying? Just that play itself. But no, man, my issues with this game, and it's the issue I had with Minnesota all year long, back about week 7, when I told y'all Minnesota wasn't doing that. Because when you showed me that you not a contender, you can't get, everything I've already told you about Minnesota. So I did have them to win this game. And honestly, I picked them to win this game, of course, as well. But I'm not surprised that they lost because of what we've seen from Minnesota, and more specifically what we've seen from Kirk Cousins. And why I say that is Kirk Cousins goes 31 for 39, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That is a phenomenal day. Yeah. That is a phenomenal day. He threw 40 passes and completed 75% of them. You know what I'm saying? Against a Giants defense that's playing well. Dexter Lawrence is arguably the best defensive lineman in football right now, or interior defensive lineman in football just for this year. He's right in that mix with Chris Jones. He's right there firmly in that mix, and he dominated this game on the, like I said, in the trenches. So Dexter Lawrence was an issue all day long. They had no answer for, and nobody really had an answer for this year. And then I think, just like you said, man, TJ Hockenson got to beat us. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be Justin Jefferson. TJ Hockenson going to beat us. And to that point, TJ Hockenson goes 10 for 129. You know what I'm saying? Now, doesn't get in the paint, but just to my dog Chop's point, you could tell that's what they went into with their mindset. And we've seen that. That's the old storyline or old game plan from Bill Belichick. I'm taking away number 1. So you and number 2 better had your Wheaties and a glass of orange juice, and y'all better come in here on 10 because number 1's gone today. You know what I'm saying? Now you playing left. You are going to beat us left-handed. And so that's exactly what Minnesota or what the Giants did. They made Minnesota try to beat them left-handed, and they couldn't do it. Now, for all of that, everything we've said, and kudos to the Giants, and for one, now another thing is what about Daniel Jones? Well, I'm sure you're probably going to ask me about this. We'll get to it. But the one thing I want to say, and this has been the knock and the crux against Kirk Cousins. 4th and 8, we throw a 3-yard out route. You can't do it. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, TJ Hockenson catches that pass, he gets tackled for a 3-yard gain. It's 4th and 8, ball game over. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like, I mean, I was gonna throw another jab at Justin Herbert, man, but I gotta get off Justin Herbert.
Yeah, you got to cut him some slack.
I gotta get off.
You've been on his head, bro. Cut him some slack, dog.
Oh, and I gotta get off it. But that's the thing, though. Like, but that's like you cannot concede that loss. You can't concede that game, Kirk. I mean, yeah, you can't take a sack there because if you take a sack there, then I'm still gonna talk my talk because when you Kirk, you can't take a sack there, Kirk, and you can't do that either. But as a veteran guy, as the leader of that team, the guy who's they gave you 30 million reasons why we need you to make the play that gives us a chance to win. Because with that completion by you, Kirk Cousins, besides another pad to completion percentage stat line, you conceded that game. Take a shot upfield, do whatever you got to do. Now, like I said, don't take a sack. And I can't remember specifically the pressure or whatnot, but I know he threw a damn 3-yard out on 4th and 8, and we down 7 points. Inexcusable. You know what I'm saying? So, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I don't anticipate. But like I said, it's definitely got to be in the forefront of everybody, ownership's mind, GM mind, etc. We've got to find another guy because we've got Justin Jefferson. We've got the best guy in the business, and he's young. He's eligible for a contract now. So Justin Jefferson is where he's at right now, and he's about to step into his prime. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's about to step into his prime. And so this next year, maybe 2, he's got Kirk, but like I said, they got some future planning to do there. But no, man, kudos to the Giants. Kudos to Daniel Jones, man, who played great, man. Like I said, this was probably the best. I think this was the best game that I saw for Daniel Jones all year. You know what I mean? And he's had a couple where he was solid, but he stepped up, he rose to the occasion. And he just played great. So kudos there. Real quick for my dog, man, Joseph Kinney, man, no votes to the podcast, man. That's game. He said, how does Justin Jefferson only go for 7 catches and 47 yards? Vikes didn't push the ball down the field at all. Well, and that's kind of what we was talking about, man. That old Bill Belichick playbook, man, make it play left-handed. And so even on the catches he made, there's 4 blue jerseys around him. He's boxed in. It was a boxing one. You know what I'm saying? He's boxed in.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh no. And I was just gonna say, yeah. And so the Giants went into this game like you're not gonna beat us with number 1. Beat us left-handed. Beat us with TJ Hockenson, and the Vikings couldn't do that. And so they conceded Hockenson to ensure that they didn't lose to Kobe. You know what I'm saying? That Justin Jefferson didn't go off. And so I think that's
the thing is about this, the Vikings went into this game thinking that the Giants was going to do the same thing that they did just about 3 weeks ago when they played them. Justin Jefferson had about 120 yards and a touchdown the last time they played the Giants. So I got a feeling the Vikings went into this game feeling like, okay, they're going to play us a similar way, so this is how we're going to do it. The Giants flipped the script. They changed it up. And then also, like I said, it helps to have Adoree Jackson back because, now don't get me wrong, Adoree Jackson, he's not,
he came on last year. He came on last year, especially the second half of last year. He was playing, he was balling. Yeah,
for sure. But the thing, what I'm saying is, he's a faster corner and he's a more of a sticky corner. And you're not asking him to just totally take away Justin Jefferson by yourself. No, I need you to just play this role, and we're gonna shut him down as a team. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the reasons why. But all in all, like, I still feel like the Vikings made enough plays to win this game. The defense just gave up 431 yards. I mean, it's hard to beat anybody that way.
You know that defense, like you said, has been an issue all year long. I mean, I think Darius Smith was pretty hot to start the year. He was sacking the quarterback a lot, etc. But that defense played porous all year long. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so, like I said, I mean, there's only so much you can do, man, with a quarter. The thing about that is, man, and this is why I keep telling y'all, man, how valuable it is to have one of those dudes, to have one of those guys. Because Kirk Cousins can't carry a sorry-ass defense. He cannot. You know what I'm saying? Not if the other team isn't turning the ball over and giving the ball away, and Daniel Jones didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And so if all things are going to be at the same and you got that poo-ass defense, Kirk Cousins can't get you over that hump. He's not one of those guys. He's not that guy. You know who it's starting to sound a lot about? This is the last one, I promise. Justin Herbert. Yeah, your defense let you down a little bit. Now, the Chargers got a couple bad calls. We forgot to mention the call with Joey Bosa. There was a huge penalty, recess to downs. They get it. So there was some horrible officiating in that game. I thought, namely, against the Jaguars who were at home. I'm leaving Kirk Cousins. I'm leaving Justin Herbert alone. But my point is, he's not a guy that can compensate for those things. Everything's got to be up. Everything's got to be on the level, and then let me play here as well. And then, like I said, I'm riding with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody getting in the back of my van, though. You know what I'm saying? That's not who he is. And so, and that's your problem. That's your issue.
For sure. And going into this offseason, of course, the Vikings season is over. But going into this, Vikings definitely need to address that defense if they want to, be back in contention next year.
No, real quick, and then one last one, man, before we get out of that one. My dog, No Budget Podcast, Joseph Kinney said maybe the Vikes should have gave Dalvin Cook more touches, serving up a steady dose of Cook to get some play action shots downfield. Impossible, bro. Dexter Lawrence was a man amongst boys on the interior of that defensive line. He was a man amongst boys. There's no, and they tried. I mean, I think he had 12 or 13 carries for maybe.
He had 15 carries.
15. Did he break 50 yards?
60. He had 60.
Okay, 50 for 60. Okay, and so right on 4 yards. But your third string running back should be able to get you right on 4 yards if y'all block it for him. And so Dexter Lawrence was a real problem right at the heart of that line of scrimmage, man. And so, like he's been all year. He definitely. That's why I felt bad, man, because he definitely had an all-pro caliber year. I don't know if I still haven't seen like a released second team, but I hope he got some votes so that he at least gets an all-pro check on this year for the second team. Because, like I said, Chris Jones solidified one of those spots for sure. But it was really arguable between him and Quentin Williams. Now, Quentin Williams has the sack numbers for sure. I think he had double-digit sacks to Dexter Lawrence's 7-8 sacks, but phenomenal year.
Yeah, and again, they tried to stick to the run as long as they could, but again,
like I said,
when the Giants are running the ball or doing whatever they want to do on offense, at some point you got to abandon it. You got to go exactly go for the pass. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what happened there. On to this next one, Willie Jack. We got two teams that play in your division, man. Two teams that played in your division. We had the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals win this game 24-17. Willie Jack, what was your take on this one?
Man, it's ugly AFC North football, man. And this is why I always say that, man. When it's a divisional matchup, man, the Bengals were probably one of the top 3 strongest teams in these playoffs left, or in my mind. And I really felt that way. Like I was trending more Bengals. Well, my choice would be Buffalo, etc. But I was trending more Bengals to sit there as to be firmly right there on the same line with the Chiefs as far as the AFC favorite. Or no, I would say because they've had the edge over the Chiefs. So really, so they were right there. But like I said again, you got a divisional opponent, Miami and Buffalo. You've got a third-string quarterback, second-string quarterback. You know what I mean? Now that's a benefit because we know this team, and so we know, and so this game was here for the taking for the Ravens, of course. The play of the game, I guess, the deciding play of the game for sure. The goal line, it was 4th and goal from the 2. They try a sneak. I think it was maybe it was 3rd and goal from the 2.
I don't think it was 4th down. I think
maybe it was 3rd, 2nd, or even maybe.
No, it might have been 1st or 2nd, bro. Because I think it came right. Man, it might have been 1st down because it came right after the play where Tyler Huntley ran like about 40 yards up the left sideline and got knocked out at around. So there might be like 2nd down. He got knocked out.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. Okay, yes, I think it was 2nd down. And so that's of course the deciding play of the game. He tries to dive over the top from 2 yards out, tries to extend the ball. Kudos to the Bengals for being on top and aware or whatnot. It gets knocked out of his hands. Sam Hubbard catches the fumble, and then, man, big slow-ass Sam Hubbard rumbles for 98 yards for the deciding and that's a 14-point swing. And then, like I said, at that point in the game, you never recovered. Now, here's another thing as well, man. Kudos to that Ravens defense. Let me tell you the stats let me tell you what they did to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, 23 for 32, 209 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Now, I'm not saying I didn't mean that the kudos in the way of he threw tons of turnovers or he went something crazy like 9 for 27 for 67 yards. That's what I'm saying. But if you're telling me Joe Burrow, possibly the hottest Patty, the hottest 2 quarterbacks in the league probably over the last 5 games, 6 games of the season, I say. And mind you, he missed Jamar Chase for some of those, Justin Herbert. I'm going to let you go. I say that was the last one. But if you tell me you held Patrick Mahomes to 200 yards and 1 touchdown, then yeah, you should win that game. So you tell me Joe Burrow got held to 200 yards and 1 touchdown?
They made him do what Miami should have made Buffalo do.
You had to go the long way.
You got to go the long way. There was no big plays.
Exactly right. Game. Boom. Exactly. My dog Chop, dropping juice. And then another thing as well, man, on the ground, you got nothing for Joe Mixon, 11 for 39 and no touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 9 for 84 and a touchdown. The only touchdown that Joe threw. And so, like I said, very commendable job by that defense. A game that you had that game winning. And I'm glad they didn't win, for one, because it's the Ravens. And for 2, I'm curious. I don't know what Lamar does now that you're in the division. I don't know what he does now. I'm glad he didn't play in this one for even deeper than, you know what I'm saying? It's deeper than rap, deeper than just the Ravens doing poorly, which I always want to see. But just on principle and on whatever's going on with him and his contract and the next 10 years of his career, the next 50 years of his life, man, you ain't going to tell me beating the Bengals is worth $250 million guaranteed. Boy, you crazy as hell. No, sir. You know what? Maybe I take those chances. And this brings up a point, man. I meant to ask you about this as well. The comments from Michael Vick and then the comments from RG3 discussing whether or not Lamar should play. And Michael Vick, as much as we love him and we remember him, we remember him a lot more fondly. He's remembered way more fondly for, I think, where he really was as a player, just for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not as high on Michael Vick as a lot of other people are, for sure. But it reminded me, he came out, Lamar, you're being selfish, put a brace on, you go out there, play for your team, you play for your brothers, it's the playoffs, dog, you got to woo, tone the corporate line like we've seen Michael Vick do before. And the reason I say that is because when Michael Vick I never forgave Michael Vick for this. When he was the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, and what was the white boy that was the receiver for the Eagles that went on the crazy N-word rant and went viral? There was he was Cooper Kupp before. He was a bootleg Jordy Nelson. I can't think of his name.
He had long hair too. I forgot his name.
Yeah, man. I was gonna use a derogatory term, but I'm not. 'Cause I'm a professional chop.
Don't do it.
So yeah, I ain't gonna do it. But yeah. So this guy, he goes on this crazy rant about everything that happened there, and then what do they do, man? They get Michael Vick to go sit up there and tell us how and apologize for this guy. No, he's our guy. And, told that company line, etc. Now he was feeling pressured, of course, because he came off everything with the dog fighting and all this stuff. So his name, like I said, what didn't come out so well in the wash, especially at that time when it was still fresh on a lot of folks' minds, etc. But I'm gonna let that go, man, before I get into something else. But I'm glad that RG3, because man, there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to say that I ain't gonna say. But I'm glad that RG3 came out because he is Riley Cooper. Shout out to No Vultures, the podcast. Y'all quit playing with my dog, man. Tap in with my dog, man.
If anybody know that type of stuff, Brother
Riley
Red know. Brother Red know that type of information, man.
Hey, man, I'm trying to tell you, man. It was a lot of Sean Connery going on back then, man. I don't know. Y'all can take with that what y'all want to, man. It was a lot of stuff going on back then. But yeah, Riley Cooper, that was that guy's name. It's the last time we're gonna give him any praise. Thankfully, he was no longer a professional football player after that year when they had Michael Vick getting up there tap dancing. But it's all good. But yeah, so man, and so RG3 comes out and was like, hell no, you don't play, because I'm that guy. I'm that guy you're talking about, Michael Vick. I was the NFL Rookie of the Year. Went to the playoffs as a rookie. Hurt my knee, get banged up. I put that brace on. Strap that brace on with 2 torn tendons in my knee. And then I go down and lose the rest of my career, essentially. He came back and he played, but he was, if he had Lamar-esque potential, let's say, you know what I mean, RG3, if he had that style of potential, then, you know, his career went from Lamar-esque style trajectory to Tyler Huntley. He went from Lamar to Tyler Huntley because of one of these decisions where you're not healthy enough to play. And I'm not saying don't play through pain. And I'm not saying don't play. If there's a way to play and do it safely, because me and you, man, we're players, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
your bag is secure. Huh? And your bag is secure.
And the bag is secure. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So RG3 goes down on a non-contact injury. It's a bad snap. He bends down to try to pick up the snap. He doesn't get hit. His knee just folds the wrong way. Career, I mean, not career over, but career never the same. Now you're Tyler Huntley. Now is it Tyler Huntley? Yeah, Tyler Huntley. Now you're Tyler Heineke. Now you're any mix of these. You're Josh Johnson now. You know what I'm saying? These crop of and I'm just naming black guys. And no, Tyler Huntley's a white dude. Okay, so good. But that's what I'm saying. Like, now you're a journeyman, a spot starter. You're one of those guys now, as opposed to what maybe you could have been. And I'm not saying he was going to be Lamar, but that was his potential. And then post that decision, trying to do all the things that Michael Vick told Lamar Jackson to do, and then that's where they got him. And so I don't ever want to, and especially professionally as well. And now even in college, because that's big business as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we did stop the cap on that with the NIL. Get paid, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad we done that as well. But I will never bang the table for player loyalty because I ain't seen ownership loyalty yet. You know what I'm saying? A league that is still going to pay John Gruden the remaining balance of his contract for being a freaking pig. You know what I'm saying? And his contract's guaranteed for these next 10 years. And a guy, in DeMar Hamlin, who died on the field and had to be resuscitated, his contract wasn't guaranteed. It wasn't nothing but $100,000 or $850,000 contract. By the language of his contract, they didn't owe him the injury split. He's not entitled to the remainder of that contract. Well, injuries are a part of this game. So if I get injured, you know what I'm saying? So now the Bills did the right thing and came back and gave him his money. Now, thankfully, it's only $850,000 on that contract. I don't know what they do if that contract's $8.5 million and you got to give him another $4 million. I don't know what they do then. You know what I'm saying? So as much credit I want to give Buffalo, $850, you know what I'm saying, on a roster payroll that's just shy of $200 million, relatively speaking, of course, dropping a bucket. And so it's easier to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Because we seen Calvin Johnson when he retired, the Lions came back from prorated signing bonus money from when he first signed a contract 3 years ago. A legend. He don't even go to that building right now today. So I don't want to hear nobody banging on the table for player loyalty until we get it from the top first, because it's got to roll downhill. Set the example. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if that's where we going, and I know it can be done because John Gruden still cashing checks, and he in a lawsuit right now with the NFL arguing about his improper firing, even though all his racist and misogynistic and every other cue, you know what I'm saying, every other term that we know that's coming. You know what I'm saying? All of that contract's guaranteed regardless of anything that happened. You know what I'm saying? Mike Vick how much money did Mike Vick lose for his situation in Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen this time and time again. So I don't never want to hear that. And so, yeah, Mike, bro, man, you ain't getting no more passes with me, big dog. Hell nah, bro. You tap dancing, bro. and you need somebody should have told you. Somebody's had to have told you, and you've been down that road before. You came out and tried to excuse what you did with this Riley Cooper situation because you know what I'm saying. Nah, bro, you tap dancing, bro. You need to sit down somewhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because that's ridiculous.
All right, I got you, Willie Jack. Going back to the game, though. I'm gonna go back to it, Willie Jack, and I appreciate you, Willie Jack, giving us a lot of insight.
Man, I could have got off into that, bro. I can't stand
it. Sound like
got off into that.
It sounds like
matter of fact, man. Hey, no vultures, man. Yeah, man. That's something up your alley, bro. We can chop that up.
Gotcha. Well, going back to the specific game, man. I'll say this, okay, and we can talk about it more another time. But focusing on the specific game, the Ravens made it a point, just like we talked about earlier, to eliminate the big play. Okay, we already talked about Joe Burrow's numbers: 23, 32, 209 yards and a touchdown. The longest play for the Bengals in this game was 19 yards. They didn't have a play longer than 19 yards this entire game. So the Baltimore Ravens defense came to play, and they had an agenda, and it was obvious what that agenda was. And like I said, and this is where I was going to talk about, this is where I think the league is going, especially with this becoming more of a pass-happy league, and it's harder to stop, and quarterbacks are throwing for more yards, and, you know, more points are being scored. Okay. If this was going to be the direction in which the league is going, you're going to see more defenses line up with a scheme like this. Okay, these are the rules. These are y'all going to, change the rules to affect the game or make the game more exciting or whatever y'all want to do. Okay, this is going to be our defense. You got to make every pass all the way down the field to put this touchdown, to score this touchdown. And we've seen this time and time again. There's not many quarterbacks that can do that consistently throughout a game. Most quarterbacks are going to put the ball in a position to where they're not going to they're going to throw turnovers. You know, so they're going to throw some interceptions. There's going to be some fumbles. There's going to be a lot of things put in place. And then also with that, you may not be able to put up as many points because you eventually going to stall out. You know, if you don't throw us a pick. So yeah, these defenses are going to start putting this type of thing in place to where it's like, hey man, you got to go the whole 90 with us, man. You're gonna have to drive this whole field. You're gonna have to work. Your offensive linemen are gonna have to block every single play because you know what we're doing? We rotating. Y'all trying to keep them same starters in there. We rotate just like we talked about with the Eagles defensive line. They rotating 10 guys. And that means every play, and
all of them getting buckets.
I got a fresh guy running full speed at you, about to put some of his defensive line rush moves on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're gonna do. On the other side of that, though, on the other side of the ball, with the Ravens offense, they actually had a chance to steal this game, man. And there was a point where I was like, oh, the Bengals are in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Ravens are really gonna do this. Like
Ravens the Ravens start wearing on that Bengals defense, you know, and they had the ball at the beginning of the fourth quarter, you know, tie game. Beginning of the fourth quarter, Ravens had the ball. And they were running the ball. They were running, it was about 10, 12 yards a pop. Then they hit him with the long run with Tyler Huntley. You know, they brought him down to the 1 yard line, in which they tried. And I looked at the yard line again because it seemed like he tried to dive from so far away. But I looked at the ball, they were actually on the 1 yard line.
Bro, it had to be a long one. It had to be like the 1.5 or something.
No, it was the one. It was the actual one, Jack. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. It was from the 1 yard line. It looked like it was from the 2 because of the way that he dove. The way that he dove, his body was still straight up. So it was almost like he jumped.
Like you on the inch line. Like, what are you doing?
So he tried to dive, but he was straight up with trying to stick the ball out. So he's straight up in the air. So he's already in a bad position. Normally, when you dive, you head first, you up over.
You need a little momentum to get up and over anyway.
Yeah, and he's not a 6'5". He's not Daniel Jones. He's not 6'5", 230. He's not Cam Newton, 6'6". He's not Carson Wentz, 6'6". No, he's not any one of those guys. He's a 6'1", maybe 6'2" quarterback. You know, if that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get over the top of some 6'4", 6'5" guys that's blocking for you. You know what I'm saying? So that play, I wouldn't knock the play as much when I watched it and watch how it was set up. I don't knock the play as much. But as a quarterback, you got to take better care of the ball. That's just at the end of the day. You got to take better care of the ball, know the situation, know what's going on, you know, and you have more downs to work with, you know what I'm saying? But the team is going to be who a team is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to talk about that too with the next game that we cover. A team is going to be a team who a team going to be. The Ravens have been this way throughout this entire season. Even going back to the game they tricked off against Miami. When Miami came back in the fourth quarter and Tua just lit them up, or in the second half just lit them up in the second half, finding wide open guys down the field. The game against the Giants that they lost, that they end up giving up because Gus Edwards had a crucial fumble inside of their own 20 or 30
inside
yard
the 10,
line.
or maybe inside the 15,
Yeah, when they had like a 10-point lead and they end up giving that away and losing that game. You know what I'm saying? So the Ravens have a history of plays like this, and it's not just Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's not just because it's Tyler Huntley. We've seen this happen with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that he wouldn't have been able to win this game. I'm not saying that by any means, because I believe what you said, Willie Jack. Lamar Jackson's worth about 10 points. You know what I mean? But he also changes the trajectory of the game. So we don't know how that game would have turned out. But the Ravens, them as an organization, them as a team, this is who they've been. Towards the end of games, they end up making those crucial mistakes that cost them. And this one cost them because they went from that's a 14-point swing, Willie Jack.
Yeah,
you went from getting ready to punch the ball in, having all this momentum, to fumbling, and a defensive lineman taking that ball 90, however many yards,
98 yards,
You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge change in that particular game, and that was crucial, a very, very crucial moment. And you can't make those mistakes. At least go out there and get a field goal and turn this into a 2017 game, especially with the way that your defense is playing.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So, and to your point, oh dang, what was I just gonna say?
My bad, bro.
Nah. You had said something that made me think of something. What was I just gonna say? This is what I want to bring up. And so, did you see the quote from J.K. Dobbins that came out about essentially just saying he finally, I guess he's been feeling this way for a while, but he's just saying, and you know what? I don't know if I have his stats. Let me see what he did that game, because it does feel like you were saying, he was getting 8 and 10 and 12-yard chunks in this game. And so he came out and basically definitely just questioned coaching and whatever. It's just like Tyler Huntley shouldn't have been in that position, because I should have had the ball. Why didn't I have the ball?
He had 13 carries this game.
Well, how many yards? 70?
13 for 62.
13 for 62. Okay. Because it feels like he was getting chunk plays anyway. But just like you said, and that's the thing as well, is we've got it back. And I think I had mentioned this maybe 2 shows ago, and I think they showed the graphic as well in that game, that for the last 5 or 6 games of the season, once J.K. Dobbins came back from his injury, he led the league in just over those like 6 or 7 games, however long it was. He led the league in yards and yards per carry with let's say it was 49 carries for he was averaging damn near 7 yards a carry since he came back from injury. You know what I'm saying? And in a game like this, 17-17, this is exactly AFC football. This is exactly Raven, what the Ravens want to do. Why didn't J.K. Dobbins have 32 carries in this game? You know, I mean, and it ain't even got to get that drastic, but you get what I'm saying? And so just like my dog Chop said, it's first down from the 1.5, and the play call is a dive from a 6. Why? You know what I'm saying? Especially with me getting off like I'm getting, and even if you don't want to, even if it's not gonna be J.K. Dobbins, just like my dog just told you, Gus Edwards 240 pounds. You know what I'm saying? We have better options. We just have better options. Lamar's not here, then we need to be leaning on me. Why are we leaning on Tyler Huntley? Especially, like I said, in this game. You know what I mean? In this game, this game was teed up and perfect that y'all should have been able to salt this game away with J.K. Dobbins. You know what I'm saying? So, and just like you said, if they don't score right there, 3 points may have sealed that game. The way that offense was playing, the way the Bengals had looked at that point. Now, I don't want to overlook this as well, because Joe Burrow is a guy. Joe Burrow is a dude. 3 points, and now you got to kick it back off to me, and I got plenty of time. It was still relatively after that play.
That play happened. It was pretty early in the fourth quarter. It was pretty early. It
was still pretty early. And now we're looking hindsight. Well, how many points did the Bengals finish with? They didn't score another point after that 98-yard touchdown return. You know what I'm saying? So now, like I said, playing with the lead, and like I said, we don't know the trajectory of the game if you know what I'm saying, it goes the other way. But what I'm saying is the way that defense, you've got to feel good about it. The day you had the pace of play, the way that game was going, You know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, Superman's amazing, but he's not invincible. So, yeah, I fully expect Joe Burrow to make the play to win that game. I fully expect Patrick Mahomes to make the play to win that game. I expect Josh Allen to make the plays to win that game if it's only a 3-point lead and I got the ball in the fourth quarter. I expect those guys to make those plays. You know what I'm saying? But every once in a while, somebody shows up with kryptonite, and it just ain't nothing Superman could do. Don't mean he ain't Superman. It just means on this day, somebody had kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? So that was, like you said, man, a winnable game, a game that honestly, it can be argued that they should be playing again. And then in closing, screw the Ravens, because they ain't about nothing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Before I get out of here with that, hey, man, shout out to my dog. No, shout out to my dog, Brother Red, man. 4.7 yards per carry, man, is getting more touches. Right high hand in the AFC North. You know what I'm saying? Rocket soccer football. Exactly, bro. Exactly. 4.7 to just under 5 yards a carry. I can't believe he only had 13 carries in that game. Because it felt like he was just chewing them boys up. I thought he had closer to 18 for like 80. It just felt like, you know what I'm saying, like he was getting everything he wanted for the most part in that game. But like I said, at the end of the day, the same thing I'm gonna say about the Buffalo-Miami game. The team we wanted, the right team won, the better team won, the team I wanted to see win, because at the end of the day, I want the best teams playing for and in the Super Bowl. And so a Lamarless Ravens team doesn't give me that. And so I do want to see the Bengals move forward in this one. But just like we said, though, man, the Ravens shot themselves in the foot for the 4th or 5th time this year, and probably the 10th or 11th time in the last 2 years with some of the coaching decisions, etc. Which begs the question as well, man. Harbaugh seat ain't never had no heat on it, and it's looked a lot. It's looked awful, Brandon Staley-ish with some of these decisions over the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Turning away the all-time greatest kicker and Justin Tucker for 4th down attempts, etc. I mean, and so there's been a lot of that stuff going on, but I'll digress. But yeah, man. So kudos to the Bengals, man. Let's get it going.
For sure. On to the next one, Willie Jack, man. And this is where I say, like I said before, I said I was gonna say it, man. A team is gonna be who they're gonna be, man. You know what I'm saying? The team is gonna be who they're gonna be, and in my opinion, the Bucs are gonna be who the Bucs are gonna be. You know, this is who they've been throughout the season. You know, this is who they were in that wild card round in this particular game. So Dallas Cowboys, they go to Tampa Bay, they win this game 31-14, man. And the only way the Bucs had a chance of winning this game was the Cowboys to Cowboy. The Cowboys had one of them Cowboys meltdown. If the Cowboys came into this game and they show up, they had a good chance of winning this game and winning this game pretty easily. And that's what they did. They came in, they showed up. You know, they were ready to play. And we got the good Cowboys on both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? On offense, Dak played one of the better games that I've seen him play, you know, in a while.
One of the better? If it wasn't the best, it was the second best. Yeah.
Well, it was I seen him play one last year against Tampa Bay, where that boy was lighting it up, boy. I seen him. You know what? I've seen Dak Prescott light it up a couple of times. Even matter of fact, going back to the season a couple seasons ago, where he got injured like after like week 5 or 6 or something like that. When he started off, you know what I'm saying? He was at that time, maybe through the first 5 or 6 games, the front runner for MVP or whatever the case may be. He's put together some good games.
Oh, when the Cowboys started off high and they went out and lost to the Chargers. Oh no, they beat the Chargers like barely. It was a crazy call. I remember. Okay, I know you're talking about. Okay, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this one, man, was one of the better games. And you might say that I wouldn't argue with you if you said this is the best game, because this is a playoff game. Like 305 yards.
And that's what I'm thinking too. Like the stakes and everything on the line. Yeah.
Yeah, the stakes are a little bit higher
on the road.
Tony Pollard, I put a post out up in the Facebook group, man. Tony Pollard was running that peel, man, and he looked damn good in this particular game too.
Oh, y'all know what's going on, man.
They know what's going on, Willie Jack. They know what's going on, man. And then another key piece, in which I don't think me and you have talked about it as much. T.Y. Hilton, man. T.Y. Hilton has been coming away with a couple crucial catches, you know, over the last 4 games, man. Now, he's not lighting it up at all, but, you know, I've seen him make a couple crucial catches, you know, throughout these games. One, specifically, he won. Yeah. It was like the one catch he had against the Eagles.
50-yard catch at the left sideline.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he had one. Mm-hmm. So he's coming in.
He's doing exactly what they need him to do. Just be a spark. You know what I'm saying? Be a splash. Like, yeah, go get it. Yeah.
And also be a reliable third down target. It's like, all right, that's somebody. He's been here. He's been around for a while. It's third down. All my top guys are covered. Ty working on a third string corner, fourth string corner. Oh yeah, we can get that. Ty working on a linebacker. Oh yeah, we can get that. You know what I'm saying? We can go ahead and count that. You know what I'm saying? So he's came in and played a nice key role. And the Cowboys defense lived in Tom Brady's lap. They were in his lap a lot. Yeah. Brady was sacked 2 times. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a ton. But he was pressured like crazy. He got hit 6 times. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the run was not existent in this game. But I mean, that's
in any game.
Their run game has been non-existent throughout this entire year for the most part. You know, and the Bucs were just a bad team in an even worse division all year long, and that's the team that showed up, and that's just what it was, man. And then for the Bucs too, they've been just awful in the red zone, and I ain't gonna pour it on the Bucs too much, man. But in this game, 1 of 3 in the red zone. They were 25th in the league in red zone scoring percentage this year. Last year, they were number 2. Look at the drop off of that. They were number 2 last year in red zone scoring percentage and ranked 25 this year. So a huge drop off, man. This team has had a lot of struggles. We talked about a lot of those struggles, you know, when we talked about Byron Leftwich at the top of the show. But the Bucs are gonna be who the Bucs are gonna be. This is who they were this year. Not to say that, you know, they couldn't, you know, make a couple changes, couple tweaks, you know, for the next season. But I mean, right now, this is who they were this year, and Dallas came up and they took care of business. You know what I'm saying? Took care of business, and they looked like the team that we looked at and saw towards earlier in this season that had a chance at the number 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? So Dallas took care of business, man.
No, and exactly right, man. And this is one of those things where it was the Bucs were. Or the Cowboys were, and nobody needs to hear this, Captain Obvious, the supremely more talented and just better team from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So just and then another thing about this one is I'm gonna get back to that point as well. But you did make a very good point before I forget again. Tom Brady was 1 and 3 in the red zone, and I'm gonna put it on time. That first interception, that's on time. They try to bail him out in the commentary, like, you know, I think he was trying to throw it away. No, he wasn't. Because if he was trying to throw it away from the 12-yard line, Tom Brady could put it in the 4th row if he wants to. He took a shot. And I'm not even – no, I'm not going to give – I was going to say I'm not mad at him for trying, but like, no, you touchdown Tom Brady. You don't get that pass. You don't throw that interception from the 8-yard line. You do not throw that interception in the end zone on the 8-yard line in a playoff game at the crib. When Dallas just marched down the field and punched one right in. That came out of this game. Dak and the Cowboys say on fire. You can't have a better start to the game. That opening drive was masterful. Dak had everything he wanted. Dalton Schultz was out there looking like damn Travis Kelce. They had no answer for him. None. The other kid, the rookie tight end, Ferguson or whatever, he's rumbling down the sideline for 40 yards, weaving through blockers. I'm like, what is going on? And the thing about that is Levante David is still a top 5 coverage linebacker in this league. He got his lunch ate this game. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a couple plays, and I think I called him out in the group in the chat. Like, Levante, that's on you. The hell you doing? You know what I'm saying? So you've got. I say all that to say Tom Brady can't throw an interception there. You at least got to get that 3 to at least stem some of that momentum, and especially when Dallas missed that first extra point after that dominant drive to start this game, and then they only get 6, I was like, and then when Tom Brady them got down there, I said, Tom get this 7, and they get the lead because now we start to apply pressure to the Cowboys. And instead, you trick that off. You add to that momentum. You salvage, you know what I'm saying, any type of bump or chink in the armor that maybe, because anybody who sees that kick missed, and especially on a team that has had some big letdowns, I don't give a damn what you say. Like, oh man, hold on, man. We don't do it like this. Man, we can't let this, like, not like this. Because the first thing I said is like, man, I hope that don't come back to bite y'all. You know what I'm saying? Especially Tommy go down here and push this.
Man, I've seen that a lot too. It's like, hold on, man. They better make up for it. Dak Prescott better go for 2 that second time around.
Or do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, in the fact that they saved, they never were able to put any pressure on Dallas. And then Dallas, kind of similar to, man, damn, dog, kind of similar to what I said about the Chargers and Justin Herbert, they're front runners. For the most part, I feel like for the most part, they're front runners. What I say is, they turn into a different team when the other team's swinging back. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where Dak gets a little friendly. Dak gets a little turnover prone. Dak, because when they're trading punches back and forth, et cetera, and then Dak wants to take another step. Dak wants to put his Patty Mahomes hat on. Well, that's where the turnovers come. Then you get 2 turnovers in the second half from Dak Prescott, who threw, you know what I'm saying, who may have finished with 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he threw the 2 worst interceptions that were the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that happens. Well, you never get that pressure back onto them. And so Dak sits in that same comfortable, I'm balling bubble. And like I said, so they get that, they come right back down the field again. And as the fates would have it, misses extra point number 2, 12-0. Like, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't tripping at all. I was like, Tampa just needs 1. 7-12, them first 2 drives don't mean nothing at all, bro. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, to Dallas's credit, man, especially to that defense, Michael Parsons. I mean, you know, we know all those names. Like I said, only 2 sacks on the day. And I shouldn't even say only, man. Y'all know how hard it is to get a damn sack. I can tell you from a guy
2 sacks on a day. That's a really good day.
Man, yeah. 2 sacks on Tom Brady. Well, yeah, man, yeah. That's
let you know the expectations that we have on him. That's what
exactly, man. And so, but like I said, stayed, just like my dog said, stayed in his lap. Like, man, two times down with the ball in his hand, but man, he got smacked. He got beat up in this game all day long. You know what I'm saying? And so he never got comfortable. And so I say all that to say, man, it was a perfect storm for Dallas. Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, man. I think Tom Brady didn't play well, or he didn't play as well this year, just in totality. This game specifically, he definitely didn't play well. Definitely one of his worst games, where Tom Brady just made spot mistakes, like missed throws, bad placement, overthrows, underthrows, behind, bad ball placement, red zone interceptions. You know what I'm saying? So Tom had a rough day at the office, but like I said, he was getting his ass beat. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it was. And so I think this is more an issue just as far as Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady can still play football. I'm not gonna lie. And I think it's just one of those things where Tom only had 2 bullets. You know what I'm saying? And he missed both them shots, and so he couldn't fight back after that. You know what I'm saying? Because the Cowboys reloaded and kept dumping. And Tom couldn't do nothing but, just like I said, man, he had a knife for the rest of that gunfight, and he just couldn't get anything done. But so shout out to the Cowboys, man, breaking their playoff win drought. And then also an interesting stat, the Cowboys as a organization, I guess, have 35 playoff wins, and Tom Brady also had 35. And so they've passed Tom Brady in the all-time playoff wins list, or some crazy stat like that from Tom Brady. That's not a knock against the Cowboys. It's touchdown Tommy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, kudos there. And I think they say this is also the first time that the Cowboys, or that Tom's lost to the Cowboys. And so, man, this is a trend. The same thing that we should say again now. Now, I wanted Tom Brady to win this game so I can stick it to Cowboys Nation, man. I ain't gonna call y'all Cowboys. There's only one nation, still a nation. I can stick it to Cowboys country, man. It's fun to just tease and pick on y'all. But now y'all went out there and got it done. You were the better team. And so, just like I said before, the fact that you guys win this game just means better football for me, because the Buccaneers didn't have a chance to hell in Philly. And now we get Cowboys-Philly matchup, divisional matchup again. And, man, I'm telling you, that's a very winnable game for the Cowboys. Philly's scared, and they should be. Or they're nervous, they're anxious, whatever right word you want to use. But all that applies, because that ball game is completely in the air. And so shout out to you, Dallas, man, and I can't wait to see the Eagles game.
Well, actually, the Dallas goes to San Francisco. That's what San Francisco.
Excuse me. You're right.
Yeah. So yeah.
And you know what? And in fairness, that's a game too. I know we gave a lot of credit to Brock Purdy that last one. And honestly, man, and especially like I said, I had to go back and watch some of that. You know what I'm saying? Go back and watch some of that again. But Brock Purdy's game wasn't as clean as I think it sounded. He did make some very good throws in that game, but particularly in the first half, for sure, he was off. Maybe he's a little nervous with that, but it's understandable. I'll give him that pass. You know, at this point in his career, I'll give that to him. And he did step up in that second half, but he still finished that day 18 for 32. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the numbers always just sound pretty or they don't, and so that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. But a lot of that was just misses. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was some throws, just, you know, but the guys around him made plays. Debo, a 6-yard pass is a 70-yard touchdown. Well, it looks like Brock Purdy threw a 70-yard touchdown. No, he threw a 6-yard pass, and Debo got off. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as clean and as crystal, and especially with the pressure that Dallas front line is getting. Like I said, that's a game next week. And like I said, either way, Philly or San Francisco, Tampa Bay didn't have an Ice Cube's chance in hell in either one of them, those locations. But now with Dallas moving forward, we've got a good game coming, man. So I'm still just as excited as I was for the Eagles matchup. I'm just as excited to see this San Francisco or this matchup as well. And especially if Dallas is able to ride that momentum and carry that from one coast to the other, from Florida to the Bay now. And so that's gonna be that's a tough haul. But hey, if they can carry that over, then it's scary hours, man. It's quiet as kept, man. These Cowboys are positioning themselves to maybe do something special. But the history of the Cowboys tells us they don't always fare so well when the pressure's on.
For sure.
Sure. My bad. I highlighted some comments from my dog, Brother Red, and I got him on the screen for y'all.
No, you good. But speaking of that, Willie Jack, I don't want to touch on it too long. I do want to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
So does Tom Brady come back, and if he does he take another snap as the Bucs QB?
No, he's done in Tampa. I think he's done in Tampa. And in the press conference, he said his goodbyes to Tampa. I think the organization and everything. But before that, after the third quarter of that game, he's done in Tampa. And honestly, there's a lot of places. There's some viable options for him. Mainly, and I think I said it in the group when I commented, is like, I wonder if he's going to look like a silver and black. Because I think the easy answer for touchdown Tom Brady, take your ass to Vegas, get in there with your little brother Josh McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? You got Devontae, and you got Darren Waller. You know, so he's got the things he likes. He definitely wants.
He's got Renfro, his Edelman, his Welker. The more you talk about that, he's got his Gronk. He's got his Gronk. He's got
that's what I was getting at.
Welker, his Welker.
He got his Welker or Edelman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he's got his
he's got his Moss, but Moss just meaning he's got a dominant number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? So like those pieces are there. Now the Raiders' offensive line is a little. It needs a little help as well. He's also got a very good young running back in Josh Jacobs. I would expect they bring Josh Jacobs back, and so he's got a very good run game behind him as well. And like I said, so I think that makes the most sense, and I think that's doable because the Raiders are cash poor. They don't necessarily have a lot of money to throw at anybody, and Tom is at a place now where if this is his last rodeo, Tom's not breaking nobody's bank. You know, what's money to a guy like Tom Brady right now? He wants one more for the road. You know what I'm saying? So he can. I think that makes the most sense. And honestly, if Tom Brady's playing football next year, I would expect that's the place unless somebody else just comes and throws a crazy bag at him. But I don't see a more appealing place as far as talent available when you go for a guy where he's at. I think that makes most sense to me.
And the more we talked about it, I would love to see that. That. All right, well, we got two games, man, because it's being played on Saturday. Of course, you know, we got Chop Willie coming up Sunday morning, man. But we got two games coming up on Saturday. The first game on the docket is we got the AFC game, man. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Willie Jack, who you got in this one, man?
I'm not going to lie, man. They say Sunshine ain't lost a game on a Saturday in his life. He going to Kansas City Sunday. And I'm going to tell you right now, normally that stuff don't mean nothing, man, because we let the film speak, man. Y'all know what's going on. 27 points didn't mean nothing on Saturday. I don't know what happened on Sunday. Maybe that wasn't fair to Justin Herbert. Maybe 27 points would have been enough on Sunday. But on Saturday, and they say Trevor don't lose on Saturday, Chop. Trevor don't lose on Saturday, dog. I'm just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what they told me. Don't shoot the messenger. I would love and hate because I do want to see good matchups. But I would love to see Jacksonville go to Kansas City and put some hands on Patty Mahomes and those Chiefs. Just so I can get in here and talk my talk. You know what I'm saying? And talk real spicy to y'all. But man, that's a tall order, especially coming off the win and the style that you won that game last week, man. Big, huge, emotional win. You've got second-year player, first-year coach in this team. That's a tremendous emotional accomplishment. And now to ask that team to and mind you, that was at the crib. You know what I'm saying? That was at home. You're not gonna be that comfortable in Kansas City at all, Playboy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I do think, man, the joyride is over, man. The Cinderella story it comes to an end, and all that good stuff, man. I'm taking patty cakes at the crib. And as far as score wise, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go 27. I'm going to go 27-21. Patrick Mahomes in the game, getting it done, man, against a young Jaguars team who, man, I'm telling you what, man, we talk a lot about, man, bright days ahead. Brock Purdy in the Niners, some of these other places, whatever, y'all know the names. But Jacksonville, seeing with Doug Peterson, and this is why I told y'all about Doug Peterson, what he's going to do when he got there. I told you what he's going to do now. Y'all see about it. Oh, I'm going to pull the clip one of these days. But, yeah, seeing what he did in this year, you know what I'm saying, from taking Trevor Lawrence to the point he got him, from getting him from Urban Meyer and that fiasco and that disaster, going through bad Trevor for a lot of this early part of the season, and then to really see Trevor really turn it on, really take a tremendous step forward the second half of that season, and then even in the second half of this last wildcard weekend game. So going forward, man, they may be a force, especially in a division that's weak and regressing. But that's tomorrow. Right now, today, this is Patty Mahomes league, and I got Patty and the boys holding on at home, man, 27-21.
Got you. And I'm going Chiefs in this game too, Willie Jack. But my final score 34-24. I think Chiefs put up a little bit more points than that. This is a game for Trevor Lawrence. Talking to Jacksonville. And Trevor Lawrence right now. Trevor Lawrence, you had your one playoff game. You had that. You had a chance to get all the playoff jitters out. You can't come in jitters. You got to come from opening snap. You got to be ready to play. You got to be ready to move the ball, force the ball downfield, and do all the things to help you compete in this game, because you didn't got some guys over there, ready to ball. Not to mention, off of a bye week, you got Andy Reid. That's a whole different ball game in itself.
We ain't even talk about that.
You got Andy Reid coming off of a bye week, you know what I'm saying, ready to put together whatever he gonna put together for you in Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? He got some stuff cooked up. Last week of the season, they did the ring around the Rosie. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's so disrespectful. Oh, also, don't forget Doug Peterson, little bruh. Doug Peterson came from off of Andy Reid's tree. Yeah. Matter of fact,
So Andy, you got to know Andy Reid coming to cook. I'm gonna let you go.
No, you good. I just thought of that too. I was like, I like your score better than my score now. I just thought of that. I like your score better now. But yeah, go ahead.
Andy Reid and his Chiefs gonna be ready. They coming to cook. Now, again, just like you said, Willie Jack, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville comes in and it makes this a close game. They come out firing on all cylinders. They come out, making a little noise, making this interesting, looking like, okay, this could be a shootout. And I see that being, a part of this game at some point. Not that it's gonna end the same, what I'm saying, but this is the playoffs. Teams gonna make a noise. Teams gonna come out here to compete, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs are gonna be a little bit too much. Now, here's the other thing too. I'm not putting anything past Doug Peterson. We watched Doug Peterson, win a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. You know what I mean? And Nick Foles, who
with a throwback pass to the quarterback.
You hear me? Nick Foles, we saw him years previous, and it was a reason he came in as the backup. The reason why he was the backup of his team. We saw him play. We saw him start. We knew who Nick Foles was. But Doug Peterson was able to put something together, for that playoff run to make Nick Foles look like, okay, maybe he could be our starter in the future. You know what I mean? Maybe he is a Doug Peterson fooled all of us. He fooled us. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Doug Peterson, for fooling everybody and making everybody think that Nick Foles could have possibly been a starting quarterback in his league. And we seen look like when he went to Chicago and when he went everywhere else that he went. You know what I'm saying? But you can't put nothing past Doug Peterson and what he has up his sleeves and what he plans on doing against Kansas City. Because he did that against a Tom Brady Patriots team in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like he didn't do that just against anybody. He did that against a guy, just like Patrick Mahomes is a guy. He did it against a guy at that time in Tom Brady. So I'm not putting anything past him. But overall, I think this Chiefs team is ready for this playoff run. And like I said before about making a guy do the whole
go the long way,
the whole field, go the long way. That's what they're gonna make Trevor do. They're gonna make him do that. And I don't know if Trevor is there yet. You know what I'm saying? He's transitioning. He's making some great strides, and he made some great strides this year in adjusting his game and growing as a player. But this is a big time team right here. They know what they're doing. They've been there. They've done that. A lot of their players have played in the playoffs years before. So it's gonna be a different ball game, and that's why I got the Chiefs winning this one, 34-24. And the Jaguars will definitely go out of here with some respect. They have some respect than it is, and people gonna start looking at them the way that you look at them as far as the future and what they're gonna look like. But Chiefs gonna take care of business in this one.
No, for sure. Like I said, everything else is gravy for them at this point. From where that season started to how it ended, and then even getting a playoff win, because getting into the playoffs wasn't guaranteed either. You fight, you scrap, you get in there in a play-in win, you win in game, and you win that, and then you actually go out there as an underdog at home and get a victory. So congrats, kudos to Doug Peterson. Hats off to the Jaguars for a phenomenal year. And like I said, man, I can't wait to see the next step that Trevor takes.
For sure. On to the next game, Willie Jack. We got the New York Giants in a divisional matchup, traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, man. To take on the Eagles. I'm going Eagles in this game. I'll give you a score when I
Whoa, really? Man, you ain't gonna ride with your dog?
Yeah, man.
Where's your sense of loyalty, man?
Listen here, man. I'm loyal to the Rams and the Rams only. You know? That's what I'm loyal to. But I'm still sensible, Willie Jack. I'm still sensible when it comes to this. You know, even though the Giants did look good, and honestly, besides maybe the Cowboys and the 49ers, the Giants are probably the other team, like as far as their offensive performance, that played as clean as they played. Like I don't think they played a very, very clean offensive game.
Did.
You know what I mean?
They definitely did.
There wasn't Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You know, there wasn't Buffalo and the Bills. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo Bills was explosive. Now that was there for sure. But as far as clean, mistake-free football on offense, making the right plays, making the right decisions, the Giants played a very, very clean game in their first, wild card round against the Vikings. And I think they're going to present a challenge to these Eagles. Now for the Eagles, it's okay. Which Jalen Hurts are we going to get? Now we got Jalen Hurts the last game of the season. But if you remember, and this is what's going to also make this game interesting, right? Mm-hmm. The Eagles won that game against the Giants, against the Giants backups. Okay.
Oh, that's right. They said that. Yeah.
They said. So you got to know Brian Daboll.
They've been looking ahead to this. Like they seen,
We just saw just the same way the week before that, I think they played against the Vikings or 2 weeks before they played against the Vikings, and that's when they lost again. The Giants lost that game. The same way Brian Daboll came up with a game plan and said, all right, this is how we're going to stop Justin Jefferson. This is what we're going to do on defense and on offense. Look, I know everybody know who we got, who our offensive weapon is and so on and so forth. Nah, Daniel Jones, this is you, bro. We doing this. You getting 7. He got 7.
17 for 78. That sounds like Big Josh Day.
You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like Big Josh toting that thing.
He did that. And like I said before, he ain't no little guy, 6'5", 230. They ain't no little guy.
I didn't know he was that big. I didn't know he was 6'5".
Man, Daniel Jones is a big boy, man.
Yeah,
that's
I
a
didn't
big
know he
boy.
was 6'5",
So he had that planned out against the Vikings, and you got to believe Brian Daboll got something planned for these Eagles. You know what I mean? The question is it going to be enough? Because one thing I've also said this year is when you're going against, it's one thing to coach up a team and coach them to victory, but at the end of the day, you still got to get out there and play. And the Eagles are bullies. Like it don't matter what you draw up. It don't matter what you draw up against the Eagles. When I watched them this year, we better than y'all. I don't care what y'all do. We're going to play you head up, straight up. We ain't going to do nothing tricky. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do all this motioning and move him here and do this, do that. It don't matter. The guy in front of me is not better than me. He not better than me. I don't care what you do with him or who you put out there. He ain't better than me. I got Darius Slay on this side, and whoever you bring on the other side, James Bradbury, we can cover whichever one of y'all receivers want to come over.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And then as far as their offensive line and their defensive line, it's like, what kind of man? I got 4 guys with 10 sacks. Pick your poison. You know what I mean? Like,
that's nuts.
And then we like to run the ball on offense. Okay, so what you gonna do? You gonna put a whole bunch in the box? That's cool.
Oh,
I got AJ Brown out here ready to roast somebody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What you gonna do? And if you want to lighten up this box, I got some maulers up here. This Landon Dickerson, who we talked about, he was born moving furniture. He was moving furniture when he was 2 years old, dog.
I wanted him so bad, Pittsburgh. God,
hey, Then they brought the rugby guy over there, the rugby players over there. But that's what he do. He get in scrums. That's what they call it. They get in scrums and he moving people. That's what they do, man. So, hey, I
Lane
understand.
Johnson, all pro this year.
All pro. So
Jason
Brian
Kelsey was
Daboll,
all pro. Like, bro, that
they balling. They balling, and they just got a horse over there. So Brian Daboll is gonna come up with a scheme, you know what I'm saying, and they're gonna compete in this game. But at the end of the day, I just still don't think it'll be enough for the Eagles. The Eagles are just a powerhouse, and I think they're gonna come away with the W in this game. Give me final score, 27-23. Final score of this game, 27-23. The Giants find a way to pick up. Actually, give me 27-20. You take 3 off. Take 3 off for the Giants. The Eagles would be too much, man. They're just a powerhouse, and they get this over the Giants.
I got you. And I'm also going Eagles. But honestly, I do think this is the Giants are going to compete in this game. I mean, unless they just completely lay an egg. But I hope they don't, for just their sake, because I want them to carry the same, and it's not momentum, but like the way that I just talked about the Jaguars, how impressive this season was. With the expectations for the Jaguars and the Giants to start this year could have been the same. You don't expect neither one of you to do nothing. Both of you drafted in the top 3 picks in the draft. You know what I'm saying? So you came in, you came on, you fought, you scrapped, you got to the playoffs, and then to even put another feather in your cap, you got a playoff victory in Wildcard weekend on the road. And so if nothing else, man, if nothing else, anything after this point is gravy for them as well. I'm glad to see Daniel Jones, man, in the year he said he needs some flowers for a guy whose career was up and down. It could have been on the same trajectory of a guy like Sam Darnold, etc. But to see him in his moment, especially, and this is a shout out to Brian Daboll as well. We see what he did for Josh Allen. Look what he just did for Daniel Jones. You think it's a game. Good coach, Brian Daboll. Man, we'll get to the awards. Brian Daboll, somebody, hey, he's gonna get a lot of consideration. You know what I'm saying? But so just seeing his worth, showing his worth, you know what I'm saying, going from upstate to downstate, staying in New York. But anyway, I say all that to say, man, you're gonna fight. You'll fight hard and lose, man, to a tough Philly team. And I think it's just like you said, man. They just stacked. They just too loaded. And so Dexter Lawrence and Thibodeau, who are both playing very well in that Giants front line. And so now the way they're playing, they can make this interesting. Now Dexter Lawrence mixing it up in the middle of the offensive line. I cannot wait to watch the trench play in this game, Chop, because
it's gonna get real down there. It's gonna get real down there.
Man, yes, Dexter Lawrence duking it out with Landon Johnson. Boy, you might as well have told me this is Mike Tyson and Van Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Ken Norton and Muhammad Ali, or Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Like, I can't wait to watch. You know what I'm saying? And Jason Kelsey, you know what I'm saying, go in that mix as well. So I just can't wait to see how that plays out, and to see if Dexter Lawrence can mimic the impact he had last week against the Vikings and just completely shut down anything they want to do inside in that run game. And then, like you said, I like the corners for the Giants, because Bradbury and or Slay on A.J. Brown, that's another. Those are also heavyweight matchups. And then
he said, hold on. What'd you say? Bradbury or Slay? They're on the same team, bro. Bradbury and Slay on AJ Brown.
Oh, golly. I showed it in my fault.
Adoree Jackson. Well, it depends.
No. Adoree Jackson's cooked. I should have said Bradbury and Slay. Yeah, there's nobody on the other side for the Giants. Forgive me. There's no Isaiah Hodgins. Shout out to you, dog. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you that you balled last week for sure in Minnesota, dog. Real talk. I you know what I'm saying? But man, not a cold one in HE double hockey sticks. Not next week. You know what I'm saying? I can't even think of the other dude for the Giants. Hodges and I don't know. Chop know their name. Don't matter, because Bradbury and Slay ain't going for it. Bradbury and Slay ain't going for it. If you don't know nothing else, Bradbury and Slay ain't going for it. We just told y'all the Eagles D line is 8-9 deep. You know what I'm saying? And the Giants line that has had a lot of improvement, but Andrew Thomas, boy, it's gonna be a rough day for you, man, on the edge with them rotating and keeping those guys in there like they are. And so, like, I think Philly in the end overpowers the Giants, but I got this one pretty close, man. 24-21. Because I think the Giants do make this extremely tough. The Eagles, offensively, they're still not back to what they were pre-Jalen Hurts injury when he missed those 2 games at the end of the year. So they did lose a little momentum. You know what I mean? So there's not the icing's off that cake. It's still damn good cake though. But you know what I'm saying? But the ice is gone. You know what I'm saying? Like the sparkle's gone. They haven't got back to that place just yet. But like I said, one game with Hurts back. And so, but I think getting this win, a tough win against a very familiar opponent, but like this could be the one, like I said, that they just keep building, and then hopefully, like I said, we still get that matchup, man, that we want to see down the road, man. Niners Eagles, but now I've got Philly overpowering the Giants in this one, but I think this one is a dogfight, goes all the way down to the wire, man. 24-21, Philly holding on and winning this one at the crib.
All right. Well, Willie Jack, that's it and that's all, man.
Hey, that's it. That's all.
We went through the Super Wildcard weekend, man. Went through all those games. We also previewed the 2 games that'll be happening on Saturday. Of course, we'll be back Sunday morning on Chop Willie in the morning, man. Check us out, 10 a.m. Willie Jack gonna break it down for you, man. Willie, I think it's about time, man. Bring us home, dog.
Oh, real quick. You got a player of the week?
Player of the week. I come back. I got you next game. I got you in the other game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some Sunday games as well. So
we got 2 more games. I think I'm gonna go one of those other games, man. It's my player of the week. Yeah. You got one in this. You got one in this one.
Honestly, I was thinking Patty. I think Patty's gonna light it up. I think Patty goes for 350 and 3 touchdowns. I only gave him 27 points, and so he can't have 4 touchdowns. But I think a 300-yard day, 3 touchdowns for Patty. And like I said, I do think Jacksonville. I've got my score is 27-21. Because I do think Jacksonville is scrappy and they can maybe hang around in this game for a bit. But I think just Patrick Mahomes answers the bell every time the Jaguars try to rile back up, and I think he gets it done, man. It just is business as usual, man, for one of the top guys in the business.
For sure. And you know what? Maybe we'll do it like this, Willie Jack. Maybe we do two, and we're gonna do one on Saturday, one performer of the week for Saturday, one performer of the week for Sunday. So I give you one, like and then we can come back with another performer of the week when we do the Sunday morning show. How you like that?
There we go. Hey, Joey, give me one then.
So I'm gonna go Eagles.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go. Give me Devontae Smith, man.
Devontae Smith. I like that. I like that.
Poor performer of the week. Here's what I think. I think the Giants are going to come out in this game and they're going to do something similar to what they did with the Vikings. They're going to bracket AJ, you know what I'm saying, and try to limit AJ and prevent him from going off. And then, now that makes me think, do I want to go Dallas Goedert? But I think they're going to rely on their front seven. Yeah, to rely on their front seven to stop their run. I think they're going to have to allocate another guy to that too, because you not only got to worry about Miles Sanders, but you got to worry about Jalen Hurts too, you know, with him being back and running that. So I think they might double up on AJ, you know what I'm saying, really put a lot of emphasis on their run game, which leaves Devontae Smith one-on-one, you know what I'm saying. I think Devontae Smith can have his way, man. He's still a really, really good number 2 receiver. So give me Devontae Smith 120 yards and a touchdown in this game, man. 120 yards and a touchdown. And he's my performer of the Saturday. Performer of Saturday.
There we go.
Saturday
slate of games. That's the guy you're looking for. You know what? Maybe instead of performers of the week, we'll call them X factors or standout performers or something like that. But whatever it is, but I got you. Hey, y'all heard my dog, man. What my dog said, that's it. That's all, man. Real quick with the roll call, man. Let me see who had in this thing tonight, man. The home team was definitely in the building, man. Appreciate y'all as always, man. My moms and my sister came through. Y'all know I appreciate all the love, man. Shout out to my dog Hoop, man. My dog Cliff, Hoop Jargon Media Group was in this thing as well, man. Check my dog out on YouTube for sure. Cowboys focused sports talk show for sure. But like I said, he's Dallas Thorough. He's a big Cowboys fan, and like I say, he's a big Texas market here. But check my dog out, man. Man, no votes to the podcast, man. Shout out to my dog one more time, man. Joseph Kenny, man, Brother Red, holding us down the strong way, man. You know what's going on. That's day one gang right there, man. We appreciate all that love, big dog. Man, I'll search it for you real quick, man. I'm trying to find you, but we read it a little late because it's 9:06. If I forgot to say your name, you can say it with me. Charge it to my head, man. Don't charge it to your heart. You know, we thinking about you, big dog. We appreciate all the love and support as always, man. You heard my dog Chop said, Saturday we got the games. Sunday you got Chop Willie in the morning, man. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? You know what we do on Sunday mornings. You know what I'm saying? We ain't dropping number jewels, baby. Tap in with us on Sundays at 10 o'clock in the morning, man. We'll recap the Saturday game. We'll get into the preview for the remaining games on Saturday, man. So it should be a good time. Y'all know what's going on, man. Y'all know what's going on. Other than that, man, we will be back as well next Wednesday, man. 7 o'clock, the home base show, man. You ain't safe till you touch home base, big dog. Wednesdays at 7, you know what's going on. We ain't got nowhere to be but here, big dog. We don't worry about this on Wednesday because we ain't got nowhere to be but here, kicking flavor with our dogs, man, with the game. Let the film speak, man. Getting how we like to, man. So we appreciate our love and support. I'm going to say that again. I can't never say that too much. We can't never say that too much. If I say it 8 times when I say bye, we meant every 8 of them, partner. You feel me? Other than that, man, we will be back, man, Sundays at 10. Y'all be safe, be smooth. Have a good one, man. Have a good time with your family, man. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.
Peace.